Good morning, everybody. It is a Friday morning, the 9th of January. Welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends. So happy to see everybody. That includes Terry Chamberlain. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
And Sam Lilly sitting in this morning as co-host. Good morning to you, Sam.
Good morning, everybody.
I want to tell our folks who are out and about this morning a little traffic note. They're cleaning up a mess on, I believe it's called the War Memorial ramp to I-74 westbound. And a lot of police cars and tow trucks and everything. I don't know what happened, but there is a mess. Unfortunately, I didn't have to use that particular ramp. Other than that, the big news is a heavy rainstorm last night. I don't know about lightning, but there was a lot of thunder in my neck of the woods over in Morton, and lots of heavy rain and lots of heavy winds or strong winds for that matter.
The worst part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had the worst experience because you were driving in, were you not, Sammy?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Where were you on 116?
I don't know what goes from El Paso to, excuse me, El Paso through Eureka through. Is that 116? That's
24.
I was on 24 coming from El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said it got kind of heavy. You thought about
I thought about pulling over, and
yeah.
trucks would drive by and coming the other way, and
yeah, you stopped because you leave your future to people who are trying the highway.
Yeah, that was about as bad a storm as I think I've ever been in.
Ooh, was that bad?
It was just heavy wind, you know, and it was just the wind was going sideways, and
so were you.
Yeah, and the windshield wipers couldn't keep up with it, and you didn't know if those aren't going to work, I might as well pull over and wait for it to blow, and then 10 minutes later,
it's clear. Yeah, I always took the position, keep going, because you'll eventually, if you're lucky, drive out of it.
Yeah.
And I found that more often than not, that's probably a good advice. I just said, if you're going to pull off about a mile off of the highway because you're vulnerable if you sit on a shoulder.
Yep.
It is, about what time of the night was it?
Oh, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's when I hit the sack, and the heavy rain actually started much before that, did it not?
Oh, it did, because it about, I guess, between 5:15 and 6:15, I was driving on.
You were out and about, too.
Yes, and it came down really hard. And on Will Knowles Road, the car in front of me and me both had drifted over because we could not see the lines. That's how it had been raining so hard.
Really?
And
so you were out and about in the storm as well?
Yeah, earlier than him. But
well, mine was earlier, too, because I just remember that I got home in time to watch the Illinois game, and that started at 7:30. So
we did have that. We did have the Illinois game, didn't we?
What?
I said
on
your
here,
sports.
I know they won big, but you got it on here.
Okay. Well, at any rate, lots of rain and dry as a bone this morning. And, you know, I debated today is garbage day, and you don't want to miss it. And but it was raining so hard, I said, I'm not going to go out in this. So I thought, well, I'll wait in the morning, and looked out of the window, and like I said, it was dry as a bone. As if
but the garbage was all over the neighborhood?
No, it's all over my garage. But we got it out, and everything is under control. Hey, let's get into the news. Lots of news breaking this morning, and we're on top of it as usual. And our best of the best news reporting right here on WAZU and also on YouTube. Brought to you by Bob Manning. As everybody knows, he's a senior vice president, financial advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley. For investment needs, Bob's available, and his phone number 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Sam has our weather outlook.
Yes, rather.
Yes?
You shocked me, so I start stuttering.
See ya. Gosh,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to do the weather this morning.
Yeah, well, today, Friday, January 9th, mostly cloudy and windy today, high of 46, which isn't too bad this time of year. Tonight, cloudy with a slight chance for rain after midnight, low around 34. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow early, then gradual clearing for a sunny day and a high of 40. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold, low of 21. Sunday, two words hard to say back to back. Sunday, sunny, and 33. Monday, sunny, and 44. Currently, it's 42, and I pass it off for the news.
All right, interesting what you just said. I can't begin to tell you the number of times I've tripped over by Sunday, sunny. And sometimes I say sunny, and I think, no, Sunday. So it is, what do they call that? Alliterate? Well, they call it fumbling, but
Funny Sunday, Sunday.
Anyway, our news brought to you by Steve Sink. He's a managing partner for a firm called PHX Affiliates. He's been serving as a business broker with the folks at Affiliates for more than 20 years. For the sale or purchase of a business. I just wonder what the percentage is. How many are selling, how many are buying at this particular point. But you can get more information about that and other when it comes to business because he's a professional, and Steve Sink can be reached at 309-696-8508. With our lead story, here's Terry.
The protests continue in Minneapolis after fellow protester Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent that she's been accused of trying to hit with her vehicle. Renee's wife, Rebecca Good, is taking the blame for the tragedy. In a posted video, Rebecca Good said she encouraged Renee to attend the location where ICE agents were operating.
Meanwhile, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, revealed that the shooting victim had been stalking, impeding, and blocking ICE agents for hours before she attempted to run over one of the officers. Noem called her activity domestic terrorism.
The rhetoric by critics of ICE agents and Secretary Noem, as well as President Trump, is totally different than when a Capitol Police officer shot and killed 35-year-old unarmed Ashley Babbitt January 6, 2021. The U.S. Air Force veteran was murdered while trying to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby during demonstrations in Washington, D.C.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday called for calm as he and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey held news conferences filled with the F word and other profanity-laced comments. The two men called Noem and other Republicans liars while threatening to charge the ICE agent with murder. Hollow threat, or can state authorities prosecute a federal employee? We'll ask Peoria Defense Attorney Kevin Sullivan that question and a few others after the 7:30 news as our exclusive local coverage continues this morning.
The use of a vehicle to attack ICE agents was replicated in Portland, Oregon, by radicals in that city. Agents were attempting to question the driver of a car when the driver decided to run them over. Bad decision.
Bad dog.
Yes. Agent shot the driver, wounding he and his female passenger as they fled the scene. The two called for medical help a few miles away and were taken to a local hospital. No word on their condition.
17 Republicans joined Democrats to pass a bill that would extend Obamacare subsidies for another 3 years. The measure was approved by a vote of 230 to 196. Democrats hailed the victory, which was a slam against House Speaker and Republican Mike Johnson. It could be a hollow political win. It has no chance of passing, they say, in the Republican-controlled Senate, where it must receive 60 votes. A similar bill lost last month.
In local news, an 18-year-old Shamari Joyner has been charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm as a felon. Though he didn't actually participate in the beating and robbing of a 17-year-old, Joyner video recorded the incident and posted it on social media. The video shows 5 people, including a 15 and a 17-year-old, forcing the victim to disrobe during the attack. Wow. Joyner is behind bars this morning.
After the 2 town hall meetings hosted by the Peoria Board of Education this week, the board will choose between Dr. Jerry Bell and Dr. Renee Andrews to become the district's new superintendent. The unprecedented meetings showed strong popular local support for Dr. Andrews to replace the retiring Dr. Sharon Karat. Word is the board will select Dr. Andrews, current assistant at Richwoods High School.
The state of Illinois is facing a huge long-term debt from unfunded pension obligations into hundreds of billions of dollars, high taxes, and budget deficits, says Republican Darren Bailey. The state has not balanced its budget since 2001 and earned an F from Watchdog Truth in Accounting. A recent survey by U-Haul said Illinois ranks as one of the worst in the nation for retaining residents. Bailey will be in Peoria next week as he hopes to win the Republican nomination for governor in March. 3 other Republicans will be on the ballot: Ted Dabrowski, James Mendrick, and Joe Severino.
Services for Mark Olson, Peoria hockey legend, begin this weekend, actually on Sunday, at St. Thomas Church with visitation noon to 3 p.m. Funeral will be held the following day, Monday, at 10:30 at St. Thomas. Now a look at news from WCBU, brought to you by your hometown community banks, Division of Morton Community Bank, 46 locations in central Illinois to serve you. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you. Member FDIC.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Ryan Denham. Peoria Public Schools Superintendent candidate Jerry Bell described himself as transparent, honest, and blunt at a town hall meeting. Those traits were apparent in several of his answers to questions, but he didn't have an answer as to why some academic programs are not offered at all schools.
I would have to find out specifically why. Why are the schools organized and set up the way they are in terms of the curriculum? There has to be a reason.
Bell spoke about an educational epidemic afflicting many Peoria Public School students, especially young black males, and asked the community to help solve the problems. Renee Andrews is the other finalist in the search for a new superintendent to take over from retiring Sharon Karat. Andrews had her own 1-hour town hall meeting Tuesday. And the Peoria School District is also celebrating the opening of its $12 million indoor athletic facility alongside Peoria Stadium. The dome took more than a decade to go from concept to reality. Superintendent Karat says the wait is worth it.
It's taken us a long time, so it's nice to see closure so that the kids can actually have something, a state-of-the-art facility to train and compete.
The entire $19 million project includes upgrades to the 130-year-old stadium, with state funding accounting for about $8 million. A ribbon-cutting ceremony coincided with Peoria Public Schools Foundation's annual breakfast fundraiser. Congress is expected to vote sometime later today on a plan to extend health care subsidies that expired last month. Democratic Congressman Eric Sorensen says his office is hearing from some of the 400,000 Illinoisans who say they are now priced out of health insurance.
It's unacceptable because these are real families. These are real people. These are people with disabilities. They're senior citizens. These are kids.
Sorensen says health care is especially important now when flu cases are rising. Bradley University's Turner Center for Entrepreneurship is getting $1.75 million in state funding to continue assisting small businesses. The 3-year grant will continue operations of the Illinois Small Business Development Center as well as the Associated International Trade Center. You can find more on these stories at WCBU.org. I'm Ryan Denham.
I was just WCBU would recognize Darren LaHood, lives in the Peoria area, and all you ever hear is Eric Sorensen on WCBU. I understand he has a room at the studios on the campus of ISU. Anyway, let's get into sport. No politics there, and I hope not. At any rate, here's Sam Lilly with all the latest that we have this morning. Good morning, Sammy.
Good morning, Roger.
Did they call you when you were growing up, Sammy?
No.
They didn't. They just called you Sam.
Come here, they always
Yeah,
say.
yeah. For a long time, I thought my name was Come Here.
The Bradley Braves, fresh from a lopsided win over the Drake Bulldogs, take the court at the Peoria Civic Center tomorrow afternoon against Northern Iowa. Tip-off time and unusual 5 p.m. I didn't read that right. Tip-off time is an unusual 5 p.m. Bradley's tied for fourth with Belmont with 4 wins and 2 losses in the Missouri Valley Conference. Murray State leads the league with 6 wins and no losses. Illinois State and Northern Iowa are tied for second with 4-1 records. So tomorrow's game is big for both Iowa and Bradley. Go Bradley. The college football playoffs resumed last night in Glendale, Arizona, with Ole Miss playing Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. It was a good game. At halftime, the 12-2 Hurricanes led the Ole Miss Rebels 17-13 in the semifinal game. Miami eventually prevailed 31-27. The other semifinal contest will be played tonight between number 1 rated Indiana taking the field against number 5 Oregon in the Peach Bowl. That game on ESPN takes place in Atlanta. Back to basketball, here are some final collegiate scores. Rutgers was no competition for the Fighting Illini in Champaign last night, leading 43-16 in the first half. Final, Illinois 81, Rutgers 55. In hockey, our Rivermen are in Birmingham this evening for a 7 p.m. face-off with the Bulls. Both teams will square off again Saturday night. The next home game for Peoria is January 17th against Quad City. Currently, the Rivermen lead the SPHL standings by 1 point, and more importantly, my 10-year-old grandson plays on a basketball team for Germantown Hills, or for Metamora, I should say, and they're now 28-2.
Ooh, and how old are we talking about? How old are the kids?
Well, they started out 10 and under, but now he's 11, but he turned 11 during the year. Yeah, and they're all probably the first 8 players are really, really good players. They're going to be, if they stay together, they're going to be a good team.
Won't that be fun to watch them as they?
Oh, I have
when they
been
get
for
to
the
high
last 4 or
school?
5 years, and
Yeah.
some of the ones 4 years ago, you think, what's he doing, you know? And the next thing you know, he's grown up 6 inches, and
now you know what he's doing.
Now I know what he's doing.
And more importantly, so does he.
Yeah,
For that
I
matter.
can't believe they've played 30 games so far.
30 games already?
Yeah, I can't remember when they really started, but
Probably
I
last
think they
year.
got 10
Probably
more.
last year.
I think they probably got maybe 10 more games to play for the rest of the year. But they'll go play 3 games on a Sunday, you know, and they'll win all 3. So you get 3 games for the one day. But they work them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. You going to all the games? Are the adults pretty? What's the word I want to use?
Docile.
Are they calm? Because I follow my grandsons and then other people's grandsons and sons and so forth, and some parents would get riled, and we've heard and seen on television incidents and so forth. How the crowd's been when you've attended the games? Do they behave? The parents?
The parents of the 28-2 team, they don't yell much. They're happy with 28-2.
I would think.
But I suppose if they were 2-28, they'd be yelling at the referees and the.
Or if they even come. But
Yeah.
And the other question is, are the referees fairly good? Yeah, okay,
so
that's what I thought. Yeah.
But they're in training.
Looks
now.
like they
Yeah.
just came from Billy Bob's bar.
You didn't mention the Bradley women. Bradley women played yesterday.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I
They
didn't know that.
won. They beat Valpo 80-44.
Ooh,
Bradley
wow.
women.
Bradley, well, what's the score again?
80-44.
I got it.
Okay.
Hey, you know, ever since she's had a baby, the team has been too well. So I think she said, let's win for my baby.
Good luck charm.
There you have it, news, weather, sport on WAZU and on the worldwide YouTube. Well, let's tell everybody our lineup this morning. We're going to talk, we think, former Congressman Ray LaHood. When I talked to him yesterday about being on the program, he was out at the airport, and the flight to Florida was delayed, and so he was a little concerned about whether or not they were going to get off the ground. But I said, well, I'll call you after the 6:30 news, and he said, hopefully I'll be there by then. And we'll also hear in the studio, our conversation with Ray will be by phone, obviously. Kevin Sullivan, Peoria attorney, will join us. We'll talk a little bit about the legal ramifications. Can a state charge a federal employee in a federal event or dispute or whatever? And that gets crazier, as we know, and obviously the country is very divided over law enforcement or the other side, we'll put it that way. And Mr. Weather, Kyle Varnold, will be live in the studio giving us an outlook on the weather and also the latest odds on the game between Indiana and Oregon. Who are you picking in that game, Sam? You're a big sports fan, or you're a sports fan. Indiana and Oregon.
I'll pick Indiana. They kind of came out of nowhere to become
They
the
sure
number
did.
one team in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for Indiana, but I think Oregon will win.
I'll pick Indiana.
All right.
And I'll
there we
bet
go.
you this cough drop on it.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good. All right.
yeah.
What did I bet with Tyrus Wednesday? You remember?
Well,
We actually had two bets, I think.
yeah, you've got breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
Well, breakfast is a
those
steak
are the
and
odds.
lunch is
But what did we bet?
The Chicago game. You bet that Chicago's going to
Lose to Green Bay,
And
and
he
he
bet-
picked Green Bay. Okay, so that was vote number one.
I don't.
I thought we may have bet on the Indiana-Oregon game.
You could be.
I'll have to call him up. It's very important to know what you're betting.
bet is,
Yeah. The stakes were not very high. One was, I think, breakfast, and the other was lunch.
Lunch, yeah.
For that matter,
Yeah.
we talked about maybe dinner, but I think we finally decided let's stick to
Just
the
breakfast and lunch.
exactly right. And so that's our lineup for this morning. So thank you for joining us. And obviously, the big news story is the shooting of the woman who was. I have to say this, and I probably shouldn't, but I surf in the morning to see what stories local television is covering, and Channel 25 that is very definitely slants to the left. Had their big story was everybody attacking the Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, calling for her resignation, and minimizing who the person was in the car who unfortunately was shot, her background, and totally ignored what is gradually being released as to what was going on in her life. And as we are reporting, and I don't think too many people are reporting, that her wife, Rebecca Good, they were married. She had been married to a guy and had a child through that person, and then divorced and then married this woman as her wife. She is blaming herself. Actually posted a video saying, I am responsible. I was the one who encouraged her to go and demonstrate and create chaos or whatever she could to impede the work of ICE agents. So that is, as this story unfolds, it just seems like all it's doing is dividing the country even further. Yeah.
I don't know what to say because, I've always been told that if you get pulled over for speeding, just say, sorry, officer, didn't realize I was going that fast, and be congenial and not, I don't protest anything.
No, and it still comes down to first of all, you know right from wrong.
Yeah.
And she chose wrong. But also when you're told to stop.
Yeah.
And if she had just done that, she'd probably still be alive.
Should be alive.
But she forced the issue, and look what happened. So it's.
Yeah, I continue to repeat my position on it because in January of 2021, a Capitol policeman shot and killed an unarmed woman, a U.S. Air Force veteran, had a stellar record, stellar reputation, and Ashley Babbitt we're talking about. I think she was 35-year-old. at the time she was shot point blank. And the Capitol Police officer was hailed and celebrated for his action. And all she was doing was trying to climb through a broken window into the lobby of the Speaker's office in Washington, D.C. In this case, totally different. She was violating the law, and I guess you could say, well, Ashley Babbitt was violating the law too, but she was not threatening anyone.
That's exactly. Ashley wasn't threatening anybody's life.
Yes.
This woman was headed straight towards an agent in a vehicle, and so, yes, she was threatening bodily harm to somebody.
I've only seen that video a couple of times, and it doesn't. I mean, it.
Depends on what video.
Well, it depends on what angle you were looking at, because he hit the side of the car. I don't think the front hit him. It might have just barely glanced him.
Didn't barely glance him. It knocked him backward.
But didn't knock him down.
No, it didn't. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But how much earlier he had been dragged 100 yards by another protester.
Guy's having a bad day.
He's having a bad week.
Well, it wasn't that day, but he wound up in the hospital with more than 30 stitches. So he was not a happy camper about people who running over ICE agents. It is unfortunate, and even though the governor says calling for calm, he turns around and issues inflammatory statements calling her death a murder, and it's not going to go away, unfortunately, and we're going to see more of this rhetoric, and as a result, these officers. You know what I'd like to find out is how much a ICE officer is paid. It has to be awfully good for them to subject themselves to the taunts. You know, they have shown video, and I don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it, where these protesters get in the faces of ICE agents, and they stick their fingers in their faces, and they stand there and take it. I don't know about you, but I couldn't take it. And in one case, they did arrest a protester who spit, ladies and gentlemen, on an ICE agent. They did take that person into custody, but that's how vile some of these protesters are, and it's really unfortunate. And many of them, they say, they being the federal government, are being paid. One woman even admitted, I think Laura Ingram yesterday asked the woman who was in her face, and she was trying to do it undercover. She had her recording devices under her coat, and the microphone was very carefully, not totally hidden, but you couldn't see what she was doing from a distance. And a woman recognized her and got in her face. And Laura asked her, says, "Do you have a job?" And she said, "Yes." And says, "What do you do?" And she said, "I'm paid to be here."
Yeah.
So at least she was honest about that. But
Yeah.
at any rate, we're going to talk some more about this with, we hope, former Congressman Ray LaHood coming up following our news at the bottom of the hour. So let's get into it. And our news this morning is brought to you by Spoon River Home Health. They've been around since 1993 providing home health care, and they utilize the staff of skilled nurses, therapists, and home care assistants. They're locally owned, and that's important, and operated. Spoon River Home Health. The folks there available 24/7, and their phone number 309-245-0723. Terry?
There are more protests in Minneapolis after fellow protester Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent that she's been accused of trying to hit with her vehicle. Renee's wife, Rebecca Good, is taking the blame for the tragedy. In a posted video, Rebecca Good said she encouraged Renee to attend the location where ICE agents were operating. Meanwhile, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, revealed that the shooting victim had been stalking, impeding, and blocking ICE agents for hours before she attempted to run over one of the officers. Noem called her activity domestic terrorism. The rhetoric by critics of ICE agents and Secretary Noem, as well as President Trump, is totally different than when a Capitol Police officer shot and killed 35-year-old unarmed Ashley Babbitt January 6, 2021. The U.S. Air Force veteran was murdered while trying to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby during demonstrations in Washington, D.C. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday called for calm as he and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey held news conferences filled with the F word and other profanity-laced comments. The two men called Nome and other Republicans liars while threatening to charge the ICE agent with murder. Hollow threats, or can state authorities prosecute a federal employee? We'll ask Peoria Defense Attorney Kevin Sullivan that question and a few others after the 7:30 news. The use of a vehicle to attack ICE agents was replicated in Portland, Oregon by radicals in that city. Agents were attempting to question the driver of a car when the driver decided to run them over. Bad decision. Agents shot the driver, wounding him and his female passenger as they fled the scene. The two called for medical help a few miles away and were taken to a local hospital. No word on their condition. In local news, an 18-year-old, Shamari Joyner, has been charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a felon. Though he didn't actually participate in the beating and robbing of a 17-year-old, Joyner video recorded the incident and posted it on social media. The video shows 5 people, including a 15 and a 17-year-old, forcing the victim to disrobe during the attack. Joyner is behind bars this morning. After the 2 town hall meetings hosted by the Peoria Board of Education this week, the board will choose between Dr. Jerry Bell and Dr. Renee Andrews to become the district's new superintendent. The unprecedented meetings showed strong popular local support for Dr. Andrews to replace the retiring Dr. Sharon Karat. Word is the board will select Dr. Andrews, current assistant at Richwoods High School. And those are the headlines for this half hour.
All right, and now let's have a check of the weather with Sam Lilly. And our weather this morning is brought to you by Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. They've been around since 1991. The men and women of AMT saving lives with paramedics and emergency medical personnel, EMTs. When seconds count, you can count on Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. Sam, what do you have?
Looks like my psychologist started out this weather forecast by saying mostly cloudy. Tends to be my mind. Mostly cloudy and windy today, high of 46. Tonight, cloudy with a slight chance for rain after midnight, low around 34. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow early, then gradual clearing for a sunny day and a high of 40. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold, low of 21. Sunday, sunny and 33. Monday, sunny and 44. Currently, it's 42.
And there you have it at the bottom of the hour. News weather on Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU-FM 90.7 and on YouTube. Good to see everybody on YouTube. Well, we haven't been able to make contact with former Congressman Ray LaHood. I'm not surprised because, as I indicated when I chatted with him, he was sitting in the lobby of the Greater Peoria Airport waiting for his delayed flight to get undelayed. Is there such a word as undelayed? I don't know.
Is he in Florida or Arizona?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know where
he didn't answer the phone, which meant that he probably didn't get out until late. Do you have any idea what time? Because the storms lasted forever and ever, and I think the flight was going to take off, given the windstorm and the heavy rain and so forth. But I think it was pretty much well into the night, was it not?
When it stopped?
Yeah.
It had pretty well stopped by the time I got home, and I got home at 7:30.
At night?
Night.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can guarantee you it was thunderstorming all through the night. I mean, I was in bed.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
I just know the wind, I could tell when the wind picked up because, of course, the awning I have kept banging against the side of the house. So it's like, oh, yeah, it's windy.
Well, at any rate, Ray knows the number to the studio, and hopefully when he wakes up sometime around 11 this morning, he'll give us a call.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I want to talk, all of us are kind of sports fans to one degree or another, particularly when it comes to bowling for Terry. And you're still at it. And, you know, every time I drive by the Dollar General, Yeah, Dollar General on Forest Hill at Gale. I remember Town and
Town and
Country.
Country, yeah.
And those were great bowling lanes. It was a great bowling alley for that matter.
Yeah.
What do you think led to the demise of bowling? I miss it now. At my age, of course, lifting the ball would be a challenge.
Some days it's a challenge for me
yeah.
too.
But what do you think contributed to its downfall and popularity?
I think a large downturn happened when they banned smoking inside buildings.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people we lost because well, if I can't smoke, and
Interesting.
and they did they just quit.
Isn't that
bowling.
something that just shows you how popular smoking was?
Yeah.
I'm going to give up bowling, which I enjoyed bowling. I don't know, Sam. Were you much of a bowler?
No.
Not at all.
No.
We had a hospital bowling league at what was one out by Pioneer Park?
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island. Great alleys, and we used to participate at that and really had a great time. We'll see if I don't believe this is right. Good morning. You're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Happy New Year, guys. It's Jessamine Hill.
Oh,
Jessamine.
good morning. Happy New Year to you as well. What's going on?
You guys are talking about bowling.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just talking to my husband the other day about we should go bowling every other Saturday night. Get out of the house and get off the television, off the screens. I think maybe that's another reason some of these bowling alleys close.
Yeah.
You mentioned, hey, I can't smoke in here anymore. I think it's because of shifts in demographics.
Yes, you're
People would
right.
rather go bowling on their iPhones.
Or the Wii, they can stay home and bowl on the Wii and get.
That is funny. Bowling on their iPhones. When you bowl,
I always warn people. I warn people about ever since the damn-demic, scam-demic, pander-demic, people are going to get too comfortable staying at home, and now people are going to do everything on their iPhone. Bowling, swimming, eating, drinking.
100 channels on their TV. They can watch about anything they want.
Yeah, that iPhone just made us brain dead. I'd rather go out and go bowling.
Yeah, amen.
Or miniature golf.
Where did you? Yeah, that's another sporting event that has fallen by the wayside. When you bowled, what alley did you bowl at, and how good were you, Jess?
Oh, I'm not an expert. I only did it for fun.
Yes. And where'd you go?
Let's see. Went to that place at the mall that was Japanese owned.
Oh,
Round one.
Oh, yeah. And wasn't there a 10 something? 10 pin, 10?
Tilted 10. I haven't
Yes.
been there yet.
I haven't either.
Oh, is this still operating at Northwoods? I thought they closed
Sure
that place.
is.
Oh, okay.
And I've been to Mount Holly, and
Yes.
I've been to an alley in Davenport, Iowa. Davenport, Iowa has many bowling lanes, including those franchised family entertainment centers, and I don't hear reports in Davenport, Iowa about a flash mob of unruly children causing problems. And people are like, I'm not patronizing this place anymore. I'd rather go bowling on my iPhone.
I think you've got it down pretty pat for that matter. I was the same way. I wasn't bad. I wasn't good. But I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed it because of the camaraderie, not just with your own
Yeah.
team members, and we did have a team from Methodist Hospital, and they had a team of doctors that were very good, as a matter of fact, and it was good just to have conversation and social contact with the players on the other team. It was just, like you said, Jess, a great time to go out and have fun.
Yeah, and that's what I've encouraged people all the time with my resource guides, planning a family get-together, maybe a homeschool co-op get-together. There's plenty of entertainment options in Greater Peoria, such as the bowling alleys and Tilted 10 and Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese is not as popular as it once was either, is it?
Hey, the one in Davenport, Iowa closed
Oh, yeah.
because of all of the other family entertainment centers.
Huh. Jess, is the other place with the trampolines, Elevate, is that still around? Do you know?
Yeah, they're still around, too.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they have one out on Allen Road.
Yes, that's the one I
and
was
they
thinking
have
of.
one in East Peoria that's very popular as well.
And the indoor climbing gymnasiums.
Yeah, you know, the thought just occurred to me. You know, they're very safety conscious. They have I don't know what kind of material that if you fall down. I know in one area, if you fall down, you bounce back up, and that one I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
My problem is on one of those. I've gone with my grandchildren or grandsons to those events, and a little great granddaughter, as a matter of fact. And it looks like so much fun, but and there is a temptation. They ought to have a elevate place for older Americans.
I'd never be able to get up is the problem.
Well, see, but if you fall down, then you press a button, and a spring will
Oh, pop you
pop
up.
you up. Yes.
Hey, I should also mention
Yes.
there's going to be another indoor play arena opening soon this spring over in the Candle Tree Center. It's called Kid End Play. It's opening this spring. It's going to have slides, ball pits, all this nice stuff. It's going to be opening in that part of the plaza that was Thompson Food Basket way back when. and then it
Oh,
became
okay.
Yeah, I know
Planet
where you're
Fitness.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, at the North University.
Yes. I know where.
Yep,
Not
Kid End Play
not far from McDonald's.
coming soon.
It's coming soon. Yeah. Well, thanks for giving us.
They said it'll be opening late spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good. You know, the other thing too that you remind me of, Jess, with your comments, is when you drive by playgrounds. Years ago, you drive by, you see kids. You don't see kids on playgrounds. The Peoria Park District just spent a fortune on remodeling, renovating, and developing a kids center. Hopefully, the kids this summer will use it. But like you said, so many young people today have cell phones, and they play games on their cell phones, and they're addicted to it. And it's, I guess, in their minds, more fun doing that than running around with other kids on swings and teeter boards and whatever you call that vernacular stuff we played with as kids.
I think the other reason, I always tell folks this, iPhones and iPads, they're not a traumatic brain injury hazard. We don't want to hit kids in the head. Their brains aren't fully developed till they're 100. It's not a lead paint hazard. It's not a choking, a strangulation, a get kidnapped by strangers, or a you'll shoot your eye out hazard. Paraphrasing a Christmas story.
That's right,
Very
Ralph.
true.
So
Yeah.
put the iPhone in front of them. That'll just make them even more brain dead in the head.
Have you thought about being a stand-up comedian, Jess? You're funny.
I gave it a try. I kind of sucked at it.
By the way, just a searching, probing question. Do you have children?
No, I've got my husband and my cat.
Okay.
That keeps your hands
That
full.
qualifies
yeah,
for it. Exactly right. Well, it's always
And I have a
great.
niece and nephew, but they're young adults.
Are you on the way to work today?
Yeah, I'm already here. I gotta eat my breakfast on the go before it gets cold.
Okay. Well, God bless you. Happy New Year, and thanks for calling in. I always love hearing from you. Don't be a stranger.
Oh, not at all.
Okay. Thanks, Jess.
Hey guys, I wrote down.
Okay.
I wrote down a lot of things here that in the last 20 years have taken a hit.
Okay.
Like bowling,
yeah.
Yes.
golf is way down.
Yeah.
Movies, people don't go out for movies
Yeah, they
anymore
did,
because it's
how
on
long-
TV.
Yeah. How long ago did they close?
That place over in Pekin?
No, the one on Drees Lane.
Oh, Landmark.
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 Oh, the
That's
theater
been
side was
closed.
closed for at least
Couple of
2
years.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have written this one down, but it was taverns. A lot of the bars are suffering. People aren't drinking as much.
Well, we don't have the
And
neighborhood
that's probably-
taverns like we used to have years
Right.
ago.
Shopping with Amazon. People don't go
Oh
to
yeah,
the
that's what
stores
killed.
anymore.
That's what's
Right.
killed the retail market.
Killed the retail market. And Facebook, kids will sit at home, like she says, with cell phones and just look at their Facebook and write their friends. And I tell you what, Farmington has lost, I don't know, 60% of their stores downtown are empty.
Yeah.
And these small towns are on the verge of collapsing because everybody, if you put a Walmart up within 20 miles of
That's where they
somewhere,
go.
that's where they go. They can get everything they want, and they stay inside. They're not walking outside, and I don't know how they're going to turn the economy around. Well, it doesn't have to be the way it was, I suppose. I mean, things advance,
Up to a point, but my goodness, bowling night used to be, that was the girls' night out for us. So,
Yeah.
so you get together. Started out, we had 5 on a team. We're down, at least my league, we're down to 2 people on a team. And so you don't really have time to socialize because you're
Well,
up
you
most
know,
of the
Senator, sit down. You got to sit and get up because it's your turn again to bowl.
Exactly.
Well-
and drinking. Now, drinking and that kind of goes hand in hand with bowling.
Or mouth to hand,
Well, or that.
hand to mouth.
But it used to be, okay, so
Yeah.
maybe a margarita would be, well, I remember that were $1.75, but anyway, then they went to like, okay, let's say $3 or $3.50. A Bloody Mary the other night at my bowling alley cost me $6.25, and it's not your
That's bloody.
It's not your super size, it's just your basic Bloody Mary. Well, that gets expensive too. It just an evening out is just ridiculous anymore.
Yeah.
And you just gave the reason why people don't go out is because they don't want to spend the money. They can stay home and be entertained. As you mentioned about movies, I went to a movie recently and I thought, gee, this is neat. But you have to get in your car and make sure you have enough money because movies aren't cheap. And they follow the old adage, if the market becomes smaller, you raise the prices to offset the money you're not making as a result of quantity. However, I drive by the movie theaters in the Field Shopping Center, and I'm amazed at the number of people who are now going to that theater, and I think for 2 reasons. One, there's not a lot of hassle. It's safe, relatively speaking, and it's in a convenient location by and large. So that movie complex seems to be doing quite well. I don't know how they're doing in Peoria, however.
Well, it's still a thrill to see some of these movies on the big screen.
Yeah,
You gotta admit,
absolutely.
watching it at home, and even though people are getting bigger and bigger TV screens, it's not the same as
Not
seeing
the
it live
same.
size
Yeah,
and having the
you're right.
surround sound.
$10
and that's
for a bucket
experience.
of popcorn.
And it's
I
not
don't eat
like,
popcorn, sorry.
at home, you can put in one of those things in the microwave.
And have it.
It was a heck of a lot cheaper than a $10 bucket for cardiovascular laden oil.
I mean, a lot of small
Popcorn.
towns around here. I'll use Farmington as an example. We used to have a bowling alley. We used to have 2 hardware stores. We had a TV store. We had a pharmacy. We had a men's clothing, 2 women's
You're kidding,
clothing.
really?
This is only 20 years ago.
And there was a furniture store downtown.
Furniture store downtown. Now there's probably
Well, Subway is there.
it's closed up now.
Oh,
did it?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's the only businesses that tend to be there are, I think there's 1 lawyer and 2 insurance men and hairdressers. Other than that, there's nothing.
Hey, you just mentioned something. What has led to the demise of Subway? Subway used to be a great place. They have one in Tremont. Every time I drive by, there's one car, and I know the cars belong to the guy that's by himself in there making sandwiches. Why has Subway become not popular at all in many
Well,
locations?
they don't pay very much to their employees, so they have a hard time keeping. When you go in, you're seeing different people every time. But I don't really know. But yeah,
Oh, well, their sandwiches are still good.
location, I guess.
And management. That's-
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. I'll tell you one area that's still popular, and that's our pet tip of the day.
Today's Pet Tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at PeoriaPetCrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Cats come in all sizes, colors, and personalities. They also come in 37 different species. 7 species are classified as big cats: lions, tigers, leopards, snow leopards, jaguars, clouded leopards, and cheetahs. The remaining 30 species are referred to as small cats, and about half of the small species are usually those kept as companion pets. As for household cats, the largest is usually the Maine Coon and Ragdoll breeds, which can weigh up to 20 pounds. Compare that to the average domestic cat weight of 11 pounds. Now, you've heard me say before I have a Maine Coon, and thankfully he only weighs about 10 pounds. But what I want you to know is that his sleek, silky fur does not retain pollens from the garden, and this makes him an especially good choice since I have always been very allergic to cats. I am continually surprised that he has yet to bother my allergies. I can't vouch for everyone, but if you have an allergy sufferer in your family, and you also have someone who wants a cat, I would recommend you try the Maine Coon or Ragdoll breed. Of course, these cats will require some brushing to keep their fur from matting. The reason they are so silky is because their fur is very fine in texture. This is probably also why things don't stick in their fur. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at PeoriaPetCrematory.com.
Weather-wise, we can tell you it'll be cloudy and windy today with a high of 46 tonight, cloudy. Slight chance for rain after midnight, low around 34 right now, 42 degrees. You know, I got to thinking about the demise of the retail outlets like you listed. I do remember when Farmington, downtown Farmington, was alive and well with activity. You mentioned about the, what was the name of the furniture store?
Mel Green's.
Mel Green's, yeah. And it was popular.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Peoria shopped at Mel Green's. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, Amazon came along and it became popular, particularly for working people, particularly for working women who felt they didn't have the time to get in their car after a hard day, 8 hours, 9 hours of working, and go shopping, particularly during the holidays, when they could, on the way home, or maybe even at work, say, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that, and have it delivered to your store. And isn't most Amazon shipments free?
Depends.
Is it? I know if you belong to Prime,
your shipping
is free.
And
So it becomes popular and time-saving.
Well, a lot of the retail stores, like clothing stores, shoe stores, they have to buy such big quantities because the manufacturers are saying if you're only going to buy 30 pairs of shoes, you know, we're not going to deal anymore. You need to buy 60 pairs of shoes or whatever. And that shot our shoe store went out of business. And then they started clustering where 3 or 4 stores would go together and buy a big order, and then you'd have to go in and, you know, get those shoes from the destination that they went to. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the retail stores, that's their problem, is that the manufacturers want only the bigger orders.
Yeah,
and,
no, you're right. You have quotas. You know, my understanding is when a hospital buys a doctor's practice, they expect that doctor to have a
Certain number of
certain
patients.
number of surgeries and tests to be performed and so forth. So it's all obviously a profit factor. Somehow, some way, retail stores have to come up with something to draw people in, to give them a reason to come to the store. Maybe a little coffee bar in the store. New car dealers have a little kitchen area now that as you wait for your car, the oil change and so forth, that you can go, and it's pretty neat. I went in just to go in to get a cup of coffee. No, not really, but at any rate, they have a coffee bar. I was in a doctor's office a couple of years ago, a subspecialty, wasn't my usual physician, and they had a coffee bar in there, which was pretty neat. You could get coffee, decaf, hot chocolate, tea. I mean, it was pretty nice. Am I going to go to that doctor just to have a procedure done so I can have free coffee? No, but retail stores, in order to survive, in my opinion, have to think of ideas to make people want to visit their store.
I
don't know what that would be.
I went to a friend of mine had a campground somewhere down by Beardstown, and I went to Beardstown, and it had all the stores were busy. They had a square, and I think if you're over an hour drive away from something, how do I want to put it? People from Farmington come to Peoria to buy stuff, so that hurts the Farmington economy.
Yes, right.
Beardstown is like 45 minutes to an hour away from Macomb, 45 to 50 minutes away from Springfield. They're just out there as an island, and a lot of small businesses that normally wouldn't make it if you were close to a Walmart are making it, able to do it because they don't have that competition from the big stores. And so can Peoria move 20 miles away from Farmington so we could have an economy out in Farmington?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
Do
so.
you remember when Walmart used to have, was it Burger King?
In the
Or
store.
a Subway? Some stores
A
had,
lot of times they had the Subway.
yeah. And that was kind of nice that, I don't know, do you eat before you shop in a grocery store, or do you shop and then eat?
Well,
They say you should eat first
Right.
at home.
Right.
I don't know.
But it didn't make
But
it
that-
easy on your lunch hour. Oh gee, I've got to pick this. Okay, oh wow, I can run in here and then on my way out.
If you want to start a new business, you need to start it right next to a McDonald's or right next to a Walmart or Illinois Eye Center out there. The optometry department is totally separate from the doctors.
But they own it, don't they?
I don't know whether they do or not, but they put it right there in the doctors are in the network for your insurance plans, but the optometry where they sell the glasses is not. And so I just found that out the other day. But yeah, if you're gonna, well, that's why you see a McDonald's on one corner, go a football field away, and then there's a Hardee's, and then over here's a Taco Bell,
And
and
then over here's a Burger King. And
yeah, they're all right together.
Yep.
So.
Well, I do know that when Walmart had the restaurants, that was kind of convenient. I might grab a quick burger on the way out after shopping.
Hy-Vee's got a nice restaurant.
But I think they're struggling.
Are they? Hy-Vee?
The one in Sheridan Village, they used to have a big Thursday night steak deal that was very popular.
Yeah.
But the last time I was in Hy-Vee,
Well, I'm
it
not
was
talking
like
about
the waiting room at a funeral home.
I'm not talking about going to Hy-Vee to eat on a Friday night or Saturday night. I'm just saying they have so much to pick from. You can get chicken, or you can get
that's true.
sushi, and you can
Yeah.
get
Pizza or
Pizza and-
Chinese food.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this, they are doing a lot of promotion about price now, and I think there's a good reason for it. Their prices typically, am I right on this?
Are higher.
A little
A
higher.
little bit higher. Yes.
Yeah.
and I have them delivered to me. So then I went to Walmart shopping one time, and I said, maybe I should be getting off my butt and coming to the store and buying food, because I was always getting Hy-Vee to deliver it to me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good service. And, you know, Kroger has the same thing.
Yeah,
Well, they all do now. You order over the phone, pull up, and they come out with their groceries. That's a far cry from my brother who used to have a bicycle and would put the groceries, had a basket in front, and he would deliver on the north end of Peoria, not in the North Valley, by the way, in the north end of Peoria, and deliver groceries on his bicycle, for that matter. At any rate, we have news, weather, sports coming up on the top of the hour at Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois. Also on YouTube. Thanks for joining us this morning. Coming up in the next hour, we'll talk to Peoria Defense Attorney Kevin Sullivan, so stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. It's the 9th day of January, and we begin with a look at the weather. And the weather brought to you by Realtor Kathy Reynolds. You know, we learn early in our lives that hard work produces results, good results, and that's why Kathy Reynolds is so successful. She's available to talk about buying or selling your next home, and you can reach Kathy today at 309-696-2162. Sam has a look at our weather this morning to bring you up to date. Sam?
Well, I wasn't sure because you did the weather there about 10 minutes ago.
Well, that's to keep you awake.
You took my thunder away.
Okay.
That's not in the weather forecast.
That's very good. They took my thunder away.
All right, today, Friday, January 9th. Mostly cloudy and windy today, high of 46. Tonight, cloudy with I suppose when you say it's a high of 46, it all depends on what time of the day you're looking at.
And what thermometer.
Yeah, what thermometer. Yeah. Tonight, cloudy with a slight chance for rain after midnight, low of around 34. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow early, then gradual clearing for a sunny day and a high of 40. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold. All three of the worst things that can happen. Low of 21, Sunday sunny and 33, Monday sunny and 44. Currently, supposedly, maybe, possibly, it's 42 degrees.
You got it. And now we're into the news brought to you by your hometown community banks, Division of Morton Community Bank. Look for the clock tower, and I do, and you'll know they have time for you. Member FDIC. Our lead story, Terry.
Well, the protests continue in Minneapolis after fellow protester Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent that she'd been accused of trying to hit with her vehicle. Renee's wife, Rebecca Good, is taking the blame for the tragedy. In a posted video, Rebecca Good said she encouraged Renee to attend the location where ICE agents were operating.
Meanwhile, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, revealed that the shooting victim had been stalking, impeding, and blocking ICE agents with her car for hours before she then attempted to run over one of the officers. Noem called her activity domestic terrorism.
The rhetoric by critics of ICE agents and Secretary Noem, as well as President Trump, is totally different than when a Capitol police officer shot and killed 35-year-old unarmed Ashley Babbitt January 6, 2021. The U.S. Air Force veteran was murdered while trying to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby during demonstrations in Washington, D.C.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday called for calm as he and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey held news conferences that were filled with the F word and other profanity-laced comments. The two men called Noem and other Republicans liars while threatening to charge the ICE agent with murder. Is that a realistic threat, or can state authorities prosecute a federal employee? Well, we're going to ask Peoria Attorney Kevin Sullivan that question coming up very shortly, and a few others after the 7:30 news.
The use of a vehicle to attack ICE agents was replicated in Portland, Oregon by radicals in that city. Agents were attempting to question the driver of a car when the driver decided to run them over. Bad decision. Agents shot the driver, wounding him and his female passenger as they fled the scene. The two called for medical help a few miles away and were taken to a local hospital. No word on their condition.
17 Republicans joined Democrats to pass a bill that would extend the Obamacare subsidies for another 3 years. The measure was approved by a vote of 230 to 196. Democrats hailed the victory, which was somewhat of a slam against House Speaker Mike Johnson. Political win? Well, we're not sure because it has, they say, no chance of passing in the Senate, where it must receive 60 votes. A similar bill lost just last month.
In local news, an 18-year-old, Shamari Joyner, has been charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a felon. Though he didn't actually participate in the beating and robbing of a 17-year-old, Joyner video recorded the incident and posted it on social media. The video shows 5 people, including a 15 and a 17-year-old, forcing the victim to disrobe during the attack. Joyner is behind bars this morning.
After the 2 town hall meetings hosted by the Peoria Board of Education this week, the board now will choose between Dr. Jerry Bell and Dr. Renee Andrews to become the district's new superintendent. The unprecedented meetings showed strong popular support locally for Dr. Andrews to replace the retiring Dr. Sharon Karat. Word is the board will select Dr. Andrews, current assistant principal at Ridgewoods High School.
The state of Illinois is facing a huge long-term debt from the unfunded pension obligations into hundreds of billions of dollars, high taxes, and budget deficits, says Republican Darren Bailey. The state has not balanced its budget since 2001 and earned an F from watchdog Truth in Accounting. A recent survey by U-Haul said Illinois ranks as one of the worst in the nation for retaining residents. Bailey will be in Peoria next week as he hopes to win the Republican nomination for governor in March. 3 other Republicans will be on the ballot: Ted Dabrowski, James Mendrick, and Joe Severino.
Services for Mark Olson, Peoria hockey legend, will be held beginning Sunday at St. Thomas Church in the Heights. Visitation noon to 3 p.m. The funeral will be held Monday at 10:30. Visitation 1 hour before. That's a look at some of the stories. Now we turn to WCBU for their news.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Ryan Denham. Peoria Public Schools Superintendent candidate Jerry Bell described himself as transparent, honest, and blunt at a town hall meeting. Those traits were apparent in several of his answers to questions, but he didn't have an answer as to why some academic programs are not offered at all schools.
I would have to find out specifically why. Why are the schools organized and set up the way they are in terms of the curriculum? There has to be a reason.
Bell spoke about an educational epidemic afflicting many Peoria Public School students, especially young black males, and asked the community to help solve the problems. Renee Andrews is the other finalist in the search for a new superintendent to take over from retiring Sharon Karat. Andrews had her own 1-hour town hall meeting Tuesday. And the Peoria School District is also celebrating the opening of its $12 million indoor athletic facility alongside Peoria Stadium. The dome took more than a decade to go from concept to reality. Superintendent Karat says the wait is worth it.
It's taken us a long time, so it's nice to see closure so that the kids can actually have something, a state-of-the-art facility to train and compete.
The entire $19 million project includes upgrades to the 130-year-old stadium, with state funding accounting for about $8 million. A ribbon-cutting ceremony coincided with Peoria Public Schools Foundation's annual breakfast fundraiser. Congress is expected to vote sometime later today on a plan to extend health care subsidies that expired last month. Democratic Congressman Eric Sorensen says his office is hearing from some of the 400,000 Illinoisans who say they are now priced out of health insurance.
It's unacceptable because these are real families. These are real people. These are people with disabilities. They're senior citizens. These are kids.
Sorensen says healthcare is especially important now when flu cases are rising. Bradley University's Turner Center for Entrepreneurship is getting $1.75 million in state funding to continue assisting small businesses. The 3-year grant will continue operations of the Illinois Small Business Development Center as well as the Associated International Trade Center. You can find more on these stories at wcbu.org. I'm Ryan Denham.
All right, it's time to get into the world of sports. Sam Lilly's here with the latest. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Roger. And let me get my glasses on here.
Well, that will help.
Yes. The Bradley Braves, fresh from a lopsided win over the Drake Bulldogs, take the court at the Peoria Civic Center tomorrow afternoon against Northern Iowa. Tip-off time, an unusual 5 p.m. Will they be over by 7 p.m., which is when the Bears and Packers start playing?
Good question.
That may cause people to leave early.
Yeah.
Bradley is tied for fourth with Belmont with 4 wins and 2 losses in the Missouri Valley Conference. Murray State leads the league with 6 wins and no losses. Illinois State and Northern Iowa are tied for second with 4-1 records. So tomorrow's game is big for both Iowa and Bradley. Go Bradley. The college football playoffs resumed last night in Glendale, Arizona, with Ole Miss playing Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. It was a good one. At halftime, the 12-2 Hurricanes led the Ole Miss Rebels 17-13 in the semifinal game. Miami prevailed 31-27. The other semifinal contest will be played tonight between number 1 rated Indiana taking the field against number 5 Oregon in the Peach Bowl. That game on ESPN takes place in Atlanta. Back to basketball, here are some final collegiate scores. Rutgers was no competition for the Fighting Illini in Champaign last night, leading 43-16 in the first half. And the final was Illinois 81 and Rutgers 55. Also, the Bradley women beat, oops, I didn't write who they beat. Who did the Bradley women beat? Valpo. Okay. Is that Valparaiso, 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 Valpo? Bradley beat Valpo 80-44. In other news, my grandson is on a team that's 28-2 in Metamora. He's 11 years old. Also, I'm selling tickets tomorrow for the Bears-Packers game in my house, in my condo. It's not very big, but I get Amazon Prime. So most of you people that don't get Amazon Prime, you're welcome to come to my apartment, and $2,500 is all I want for it.
Okay.
Yeah. I can take about 4 people. That's about going to be a lot of bar. I don't know if a lot of bars are going to be signing up for Amazon tomorrow, but I don't know why they put that on Prime. You watch them all year, and then
it's called M-O-N-E-Y. That's the name of the game.
That's the name of it. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And tomorrow's a battle of good and evil. Yeah. And it depends on who you're rooting for. So for me, the Bears are good and the Packers are evil, but some people would think just the opposite.
Yeah. I think in the end, the best team will win. And now
that doesn't always happen.
No, it doesn't. That is true. I think Jordan Love is healthy enough to start. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that'd be a big issue.
And I think it will be a battle between he and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams seems like he comes alive in the fourth quarter. In the meantime, they frequently play the first quarter without scoring, maybe a field goal, maybe another one in the second quarter. And then for some reason or another, I don't know whether they're taking steroids in the fourth quarter or what, but suddenly he is able to connect and the receivers are able to get open. But I don't see the Bears winning, and I'm rooting for the Bears.
I kind of agree with you, but I think it's the Bears have a crappy defense.
In the secondary particularly.
Yeah,
you're right.
They can't keep up with
Number 26, Wright. He is always he gives other team receivers 5 to 10 yards, and they just do a slant and bingo.
Yeah.
But it will be fun to watch. So
maybe.
Well,
it could be torture to watch too.
Yeah, it would be. All right, welcome to hour number 2 of Breakfast with Roger and Friends. 10 points. What's the name of the song and who's the artist? It has to do with the weather.
Sunny day.
Breezy.
Oh, breezy.
Breezin or breezy?
Freezing.
Breezing. Okay. George Benson. Was
That
it?
name in a while.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that, but I try to stay up to date with things. Wasn't there a program titled Benson?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had,
Yes. George Benson?
no, I can see the guy, but Robert Guillaume was the butler for the governor. I don't know what state he was the governor of. I think James
Certainly
Noble played the
wasn't
governor.
Minnesota.
No, it was not
No,
Minnesota.
because it was a nice state.
And Ben, it was a good show.
Is that the one that had the maid that became popular later? Maybe I'm thinking
No.
of something else.
No, because Benson truly, as the butler, was the star of the show, and he was always
yeah.
But
giving.
the name of the program was Benson.
It was Benson,
but,
yes.
yeah. And as I recall, it was a pretty popular show. When you look back on it, what show do you miss the most that you watch and you made a point, and maybe you made your determination what you were going to do based on that show and the time it was on?
Oh, this goes way back.
All right, we'll go way back.
It was called Alias Smith and Jones.
Well, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it
That's
had.
going too far back.
Well, I said I was going way back.
Okay.
I was in
Who
high
was
school.
in it?
Peter Duell and Ben Murphy, and they were outlaws in the West. Hannibal Hayes and Kid Curry. They were known for robbing trains, but they never killed anybody. And they wanted to get amnesty. And I think it was Wyoming or one of the states out west. And they went to their friend, who was a sheriff, and he goes, I'll put in for the governor, but you guys have to be good for like a year. But it's going to be our secret. We can't tell anybody. So they'd go into a small town, and there'd be their wanted posters there in the post office, and they'd have to kind of lay low. And it was a clever, entertaining show, light fluff, for an hour.
I just don't remember that. At what time was it on?
I think it was on Thursday nights, maybe about 7 o'clock.
Okay, Sam, what TV
I wrote
show?
down. I wrote down 4 here.
4.
Yes,
Wow.
when I was little, The Fugitive with David Jansen, the original
Yeah.
show, The
Great show. I
Fugitive.
forgot about that one. That
Mission
was one-
Impossible,
Yeah.
the original cast. Seinfeld, more recently for comedy, and maybe one of the ones that I could watch it. I could watch it all day long is Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Oh, you too,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can watch it. Well,
You can
watch
on
it all the
Nickelodeon.
time.
You can watch it all
No,
day long.
TV Land. It's on TV Land.
Land.
Yeah, Royce used to call me every now and then and say, "Are you watching Andy Griffith?" "Oh no, I forgot." "Watch it." Barney is doing it again, man.
Yeah.
And he made that show. There's no question about it.
I think about every 10 years I watch the entire series of Andy Griffith.
I do it every day.
Because I'll skip it and then I'll find it somewhere on
Oh, it's
TV
always-
and
it's-
then it
yeah.
just drawn into it and just
Yeah.
the characters they had on it.
I'm with you on that one. Mine is Carol Burnett show.
Yeah, that was
and
great.
primarily due to Tim Conway and
Harvey Korman.
Harvey Korman. The story is told, and apparently told by Carol Burnett, that somebody's trying to get a hold of me. The phone was off the hook.
Good, yep.
At any rate, that Harvey Korman apparently had an attitude problem on the show, and he called her in, or she called him in, and said, "Harvey, you need to get a little humble, and you need to be become a part of the show, or you won't be a part of the show if you don't change your attitude." And he did, and as a result, he went on to bigger and better things, but certainly that was one of the shows. And I love watching the Mary Tyler Moore
that was
show.
a good one.
And that was wonderful. And when you talk about shows that you really enjoy and you miss, this wasn't a show that I made a point of watching because it was at the wrong time for me. I didn't get off work until 4:35, 5:30 when I was working at Methodist Hospital. But that was Captain Jinx and Salty Sam, locally produced with George Basilian as Salty Sam and Captain Jinx by
Captain Jinx was Stan Lonergan.
Stan Lonergan, yes. And I'm told by people who work at Channel 25 that Stan, when he got into his outfit, walked around the station like it was his boat. It was his ship.
His ship. He was
Yeah.
captain of his ship. You
And
bet.
that was, I actually think, because there were so many inside jokes between the two of them, that it had more appeal for adults than it
Now
did for the kids.
you started out saying that because of when I worked, I didn't get to see it much.
Mm-hmm.
You were working full time and you were still watching the cartoon show.
Yes.
It's for the commentary between the two, in between the cartoons.
Yeah. No, it was,
That's me.
yeah. It was a show for the kids. However, if I would get home early, or maybe I was off that day, I kind of enjoyed watching it with the kids because I knew both guys. As a
Yeah,
matter of fact,
that's
when
true.
later in life, when Stan became ill, he was a patient at the hospital, and I went up to his room and visited with him. And frankly speaking, I just told him how much I enjoyed watching the show. And I don't think, and maybe the two of you can come up, or any of our listeners who want to call us at 966-4044, is that they had such an inside twist of humor that kids wouldn't understand, but adults would.
My grandpa loved it.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
it was. But do you know of any other local show that had the following it? And you could talk about
No.
Paul Beard's used car new flick, and then there was somebody else who hosted a late night.
Oh,
movie.
the Chuck
Acre
Acre, the Acre
feature.
creature feature.
Creature feature.
Yeah,
Yep.
Thousands and thousands of pumpkins.
yeah.
That's one of the advertising people on it. The creek. Yeah.
Acre creature feature.
We got
Yep.
pumpkins. We got thousands and thousands of pumpkins.
But you don't have any locally produced shows. You have talk shows on PBS, WTVH, or whatever, WTVP.
Spit it out.
They're talking, yeah, spit it out. That's another old-time expression I heard. Spit it out, Roger. What is it you're trying to say? I have no idea. But you don't have, do you have any locally produced entertainment shows? Paul Beard had a live band, and I remember, I won't say what he said on the air, but they finished the number and he came on camera and made a couple of comments about the band and so forth. But that was locally produced. Then they had a woman who hosted a show on Channel 19, and her name is on the tip of my tongue. She was a local actress or singer.
Don't know.
Um,
I was watching Captain Jinx and Salty Sam when I was a kid. That's how far back it goes, and I'm 70. But I remember watching it when I was.
I was on it when I was 5 years old.
you were on it?
We were, my aunt and uncle, who were 6 years older than I was, and grandma and mom took us down, so we were in the studio. They had that little audience there that they could watch the show.
Yeah, that
And
was at what channel?
back then I think it was 25, if I'm not
Was
mistaken.
it over in East Peoria?
Yes.
Okay.
And they actually came out to the audience and they asked me, I don't know, to say something or like that. And you get so, 5, let's face it, I was quite flustered in that. And I didn't say anything about saying hi to my grandpa. And my mom got so mad. She said, grandpa's sitting at home watching it, and you could have said, hi, grandpa,
Yeah.
but oh no, not, you didn't.
You choked.
Yes, I choked,
you
exactly.
Gunsmoke was another show that I used to enjoy, and you can still watch it on
That's
TV.
on-
I have a bone to pick with the producers of TV Land. This is predominantly a family-oriented type of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is MTV will run spots on this family channel that are disgusting. I won't go into why it's disgusting, but I would venture to say 90% of the people would say, oh my Lord, if not 98%. But they are promos for MTV.
For other MTV
Yeah.
shows?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And I'll leave it at that. I've wanted to send an email, a text or something and say, can't you put those on late at night if you want to?
Beyond past the family hour?
Yeah, past the family hour.
I was on TV once. Very early. I forget how old I must have been. Maybe I was 8 or 9. and we went to an Illinois Wesleyan Augustana game because my sister was a cheerleader for Wesleyan, and my next door neighbor played football for Wesleyan, and we were up in playing at Augie, and he let me come out on not onto the field, but where the players are. You know,
Sure.
I'm out of bounds, and a play came over by me, and kind of the players rolled in front of me, and every Sunday night Augie had a highlight program, and they showed that play, and I had blue corduroy pants on and a black or something sweatshirt, and my fly was totally open. And here on TV, they can see all my is dark colored everything, and then my white underwear showing right. So that was my first.
Big claim to fame.
Was that your TV highlight?
That was my TV highlight. Yeah.
It is. But anyway, we had local TV, predominantly, as I say, the late night shows. Usually what? Friday night, Saturday night?
Usually, Acre Creature, that was Saturday night.
Saturday night,
Yeah.
And I think there was a Chuck Acree, was that his name?
Yeah, and it was
Siding.
a siding. He had a
He had siding,
siding company.
and then Paul Beard had the car dealership. He was somewhat of a, shall we say, a personality, and leave it at that, maybe.
Well, I remember Bill Butler had.
Yeah,
he
Bill
had
Butler,
his
Man
commercial,
with
the
the
Man with the
Cigar.
Cigar. That's right.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. At any rate, we'll be right back after this message. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Amy Grant. When it comes to supporting our military, the American Red Cross is proud to serve those who serve us. When emergencies happen, the Red Cross helps connect service members with their families. There are many ways you can get involved, from volunteering at military or veterans hospitals to helping military families cope with the challenges of deployments. Please support the American Red Cross service to the armed forces. Go to redcross.org. Thank you.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a teacher.
I live in the South.
California is my home.
I speak fluent Spanish.
No hablo español.
I have brown eyes.
My eyes are blue.
We're very different people, but we do have something in common. I made a donation to the Red Cross.
When disaster struck and I needed help, her gift to the American Red Cross changed my life.
When you support the American Red Cross, you change a life, starting with your own.
Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcross.org and find out about life-changing opportunities in your area.
You know, we talk about some of the shows and on Peoria television. Another area that I always enjoyed were the different weather forecasters, the meteorologists on television. I was pretty close to Rolly Strubar, or Rolly Keith, as he did on television. He was program director for WSIV, the 1140 station that was based at one time in Pekin, and now they're in Peoria. I don't know where they are. I think they moved out of their studios down on Eaton Street for a variety of reasons. But Rolly was a program director, and he had a pretty good singing voice. And on certain mornings during the week, the organist, Kerry Robards was his name, would play the organ. And that just shows you where entertainment was locally. Playing the organ on Peoria, Pekin radio, and Rolly would sing, and he had a pretty good singing voice. And I remember one morning, I said, Rolly, I got to leave early, and without hesitation, he said, where are you going? And I said, well, they're looking for a booth announcer at Channel 19, so I'm going to go over and apply and do an audition. Well, Rolly decided to do the same thing, unbeknownst to me, and of course he was hired, more older, more experienced, more talented than I was, and look what happened to him. He wound up not only being a booth announcer, but developed a career as a meteorologist, taking the course, I think, from the University of Mississippi by mail, and went on to bigger and better things. And I was not bitter over it. I thought, hey, you know, I'm just a young guy getting started in broadcasting. And I remember when we were down in Little Rock, Arkansas, when my wife was diagnosed with a brain tumor. We were referred to a neurosurgeon at the University of Arkansas in Little Rock. And that night in a motel, I turned on the TV, and who do you think I saw giving the weather but Rolly Strubar, Rolly Keith? And he was working, I believe, in a station in Nashville or Memphis. So I called the station to say hi because we were pretty good friends, and I unfortunately didn't get through because it was late at night. And for one thing, they didn't have a live receptionist, even back then. But Rolly Strubar, when you talk about TV local personalities, he was always one of my favorites, and there were a lot of them. Did you have a favorite?
No, I didn't.
No.
I was Rolly hosted. It used to be called Bids for Kids.
That's right. By producers.
On producers,
Yeah.
you collected producers' points.
Yeah, you're right.
We had so many, so my mom took my brother one morning, and oh my goodness, he brought me home. He got me a little silver watch, and he came home with all kinds of interesting things because Mom had
Yeah.
crunched so
Well, that
many
was a
points.
big deal.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the big deal is our news. Let's get into the news and bring you up to date. And the news this morning brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. For investment needs, Bob is available at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Here's Terry.
Well, there are more protests in Minneapolis after fellow protester Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent that she'd been accused of trying to hit with her vehicle. Renee's wife, Rebecca Good, is taking the blame for the tragedy. In a posted video, Rebecca said she encouraged Renee to attend the location where ICE agents were operating. Meanwhile, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, revealed that the shooting victim had been stalking, impeding, and blocking ICE agents for hours before she attempted to run over one of the officers with her vehicle. Noem called her activity domestic terrorism. The rhetoric by critics of ICE agents and Secretary Noem, as well as President Trump, is totally different than when a Capitol police officer shot and killed 35-year-old unarmed Ashley Babbitt January 6, 2021. The U.S. Air Force veteran was murdered while trying to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby during demonstrations in Washington, D.C. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday called for calm as he and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey held news conferences filled with the F word and other profanity-laced comments. The two men called Noem and other Republicans liars while threatening to charge the ICE agent with murder. Hollow threat? Or can state authorities prosecute a federal employee? Well, we're going to find out because defense attorney Kevin Sullivan has joined us. We'll bombard him with questions. The use of a vehicle to attack ICE agents was replicated in Portland, Oregon by radicals in that city. Agents were attempting to question the driver of a car when the driver decided to run them over. Bad decision. Agents shot the driver, wounding him and his female passenger as they fled the scene. The two called for medical help a few miles away and were taken to a local hospital. No word on their condition. In local news, an 18-year-old, Shamari Joyner, has been charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a felon. Though he didn't actually participate in the beating and robbing of a 17-year-old, Joyner video recorded the incident and posted it on social media. The video shows 5 people, including a 15 and a 17-year-old, forcing the victim to disrobe during the attack. Joyner is behind bars this morning. After the 2 town hall meetings hosted by the Peoria Board of Education this week, the board will choose between Dr. Jerry Bell and Dr. Renee Andrews to become the district's new superintendent. The unprecedented meetings showed strong popular local support for Dr. Andrews to replace the retiring Dr. Sharon Karat. Word is the board will select Dr. Andrews, current assistant principal at Richwoods High School. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you kindly. Now, a check of the weather brought to you by Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. AMT serves 65 communities with 54,000 emergency calls a year. When seconds count, you can count on Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. Sam, you have the weather.
I'm ready, Roger. Mostly cloudy and windy today, high of 46. Tonight, cloudy with a slight chance for rain after midnight, low around 34. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow early, then gradual clearing for a sunny day and a high of 40. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold, low of 21. Sunday, sunny and 33. Monday, sunny and a high of 44. Currently, it's 42 degrees.
Okay, this morning we're delighted to have on our program Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan. You always look dapper, but particularly this morning, so I'm going to guess you're going to be in court.
I'm on the road after this to court, out of town all day.
Okay, all right, well, drive carefully.
Hopefully not in one of Paul Beard's cars.
Do you remember?
Oh,
Paul?
my God.
Yeah.
What a character. Do you ever, I got to be careful how I tell the story, but it just shows how times have changed. He would pull it on through, Shorty.
Yep, pull it on, Shorty. Yeah.
And then the one time he kicked the tires on a car, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. This is just a beauty. There's no ends in this wood pile."
Yes, that's
okay.
You're right.
And, then,
you're exactly
and this
right.
was live at the studio where they were driving the car.
Channel 19.
And then the switchboard lit up.
Yes.
When that, he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen," the next commercial, he goes, "I'm sorry if I offended you. No offense was intended. Let me tell you, some of my best friends are ends."
He went from the frying pan to the fire,
And you know
didn't
what he said one time, and I think I can say this. If I don't, then dock my pay. But he said, "Hey, folks, how about thinking about getting the wife, a second car? They need that during the week when you're busy at work, and et cetera, et cetera. Why don't you bring the wife down on Saturday and we'll dick her?"
Yes, instead of negotiating.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, folks, tune in on Monday to see if we're still on the air.
Yeah. Well, it's a legitimate word. That's,
That phrase has been said in every town within hearing distance of the. I've heard that for years.
And you know when Acree's Creature Feature was on Saturday nights at 10:30 until 1975 when Saturday Night Live took over.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end, wasn't it?
That's right.
Very popular. Well, let's get into the chaos, legally and otherwise, in the state of Minnesota. One of the questions that has been openly debated somewhat, and that is, can state authorities sue, arrest, charge a federal employee?
Well, you're talking different things here. You're talking a civil lawsuit versus a criminal prosecution. And
the criminal is what I'm talking about.
Criminal, okay. So can they be prosecuted? The answer is the federal agents are not, they don't have absolute immunity from being prosecuted at the state level. However, the Supreme Court has said that if a federal agent acting in the scope of his employment or his duties is prosecuted for an act by a state authority, they have the absolute right to move that case from the state to the federal courts. When it goes to the federal courts, then you've got certain degrees of qualified immunity, you've got the supremacy clause, you've got a number of other things, and it's highly unlikely that somebody will be convicted, perhaps even prosecuted in federal court. So it takes, the purpose behind this, and it goes back to a case from the 1800s, is that the states would tend to obliterate federal law, which they normally are not authorized to interpret. Federal judges, on occasion, are called to interpret state law, but not the reverse, typically. So, it's officers can use lethal force when facing the imminent threat of death or bodily harm. And what I think is a situation that I didn't see anybody bring up about this incident up in Minnesota is, first of all, the road to me looked like it might have been, it had snow, it had packed ice and snow on it.
Yeah.
And it was obviously going to be slippery because I think that car spun a little bit as she gunned or revved her engine. And I think that's a factor to consider because you don't know where that car is going to go. Is it going to swing around and the tail end take out this officer? There was two camera views, one from behind and one from kind of ahead and off to the, would be the right front of the car. The one that was coming from in front of the car looked like it really put that officer in harm's way, more so than the other video. But, they're talking about he's a murderer. He's not a murderer. I don't care under any scenario. Murder requires some type of some type of premeditation, some type of planning, such that your actions would either cause or likely cause death to somebody else. This was completely responsive to what she did. And she was there for a reason, and that was to thwart the efforts of ICE in Minnesota. She wasn't from Minnesota, originally from Colorado. Then she moved to Kansas City, and somebody, maybe her sister, talked her into going up there and being a obstacle to, and she was parked perpendicular on the road, and the ICE agents are saying, we walked up to her for the purpose of get out of the way. And, she escalated it, in my opinion, and I don't think that there'll be a successful criminal prosecution, and I don't think there'll be a successful civil lawsuit in this case against. But, they, as of last night, they named the ICE agent and put his picture out there. And, let's just put a bullseye on him.
Yeah. Well, and he had somewhat of an unfortunate incident where he was dragged. They said 100 yards. 100 yards? That's a football field.
That could be a city block, depending upon where you are on pavement. He ended up lucky he didn't lose his leg.
Right.
But I think he had like 40 stitches in his leg.
33 stitches.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, what does that do to a person under the circumstances when they are next, facing immediate peril? And that's got to be a factor in what his thinking was at that point in time.
Yeah.
And the fact that he shot actually the closest place to where he was, and the shot went in to the windshield right near the bottom, would be the driver's side corner of the windshield. I don't know where else you would shoot to have any effect to try to stop this process. You're not going to shoot the tires from that angle because that bullet's going to ricochet. You're not going to shoot the body of the car because that's going to have no impact, at least immediately, unless it disables something in the engine. So, it's just an unfortunate situation. But once again, let the authorities do what they are there to do, right, wrong, or indifferent. If you don't like it, go to court and do it the right way. And obviously, some states have had more success than others when they have gone to court and say, we want the guard out of here, we want ICE out of here. And it's certainly not consistent decisions, but I think we got to recognize that she put herself initially. She was the one that escalated it, and it's a tragic outcome, no matter who was at fault.
What really bothers me most about it is the reaction. On the one hand, the governor says, let's let this unfold and play out, while also condemning not only the law enforcement, the ICE agent, and the ICE agents, we might add, but also the Secretary of the Homeland Security Department. She should resign, and it just seems like people will not allow this to calm down because they engage in the rhetoric of downright hatred, in my opinion.
Well, in one hand, you get Governor Walz, who says, I'm calling for calm. And in his next breath is, here's this officer, here's his picture, here's his name, here's where he lives, here's what he drives, here's where I'll be tomorrow at noon for all of you that are interested, and that crazy mayor out there. You talk about fanning the flames, if you want to be responsible, let's take a wait-and-see approach and let the facts develop as they were. But everybody's got to get out in front of that camera and get their 2 cents worth and, their 15 minutes of fame.
Now, you also mentioned the possibility of civil suits. Talk about that, if you will.
Well, there's such a thing as the Federal Tort Claims Act. And if a federal employee or a federal agent is involved in some type of activity, let's say in this particular case, they have a certain degree of immunity in order to do their job. Much like, and it really isn't that unusual or that different than, let's say, it was on a local basis. You've got Tort Claims Act in the state of Illinois, most all states do, and you hear about, give you an example on a local basis. If a local police officer, let's say it's county or city, shoots somebody, they are immediately put on desk duty while the investigation ensues. Another police agency comes in and does the investigation to eliminate any conflict of interest, and that typically then goes to the state's attorney for a legal review. And in most cases, the state's attorney determines that incident was justified. And if then there's a lawsuit, if let's say the victim, if it's a shooting with an injury, or if it's a death, the victim's family, next of kin, files a lawsuit. As long as that police officer is acting within the scope of his duties and his conduct was not blatant or willful, probably not going to have a lot of success in that lawsuit. Because again, these police officers, like a lot of state officials, or government officials for that matter, have a certain degree of qualified immunity. And there's, the reason for qualified immunity is twofold, at least, maybe more. One is let these guys do their job and not be fearful every time they go on duty. Oh my God, I can't do this. I may be sued. I might do this. You got to let them do their job. And the other thing is the courts and the law has frowned for years on people suing the government, because who ends up paying for that? The taxpayer. So it's like a round robin. And so there's a reason for those sort of things. And I think most every case that I can think of just at this moment, whether it's something I'm watching on Dateline, something I'm reading about locally, something I may see in the courthouse or I may be involved in, typically starts with the private citizen, with the individual, escalating the situation, whether it's resisting, whether it's mouthing off, which is allowed. You've got a First Amendment right to say what you want. But when it turns physical, that's when, and in this day and age, a police officer doesn't know when they're stopping somebody for just a rather innocuous speeding ticket, who's in that vehicle. And I heard Mike McCoy yesterday talking. I thought that was a good segment yesterday. And Mike said, what we tell our people, whether it's at city of Washington or the county of Peoria, when an officer's making a traffic stop, other officers, if they're available, are heading that way. That's just their response. It's just a reaction. It's not even a thought. We're going to head that way just in case. And I have a lot of clients. Why did it take 3 police officers to pull me over? Well, it didn't. 2 are on standby, and 1 was tasked with probably giving you a ticket or arresting you, whatever the case may be. So, it's just the way of the world right now, and it's not good, and it's not going to get better, I don't see.
I know one of the things that Mike talked about and that we've all noticed on the highway, state troopers, and I assume city as well, though there's not much traffic enforcement in the city of Peoria, now interview drivers from the passenger side of the vehicle on interstate highways and roadways for safety reasons.
Absolutely, because of Scott's law, and that's these people that aren't paying attention, and you see a police officer talking to somebody that, maybe he's got his fanny sticking out a little bit close to the fog line on the interstate, depending on how far that vehicle's over. Somebody hits that car, that is probably going to hit the cop directly. But if the cop's on the other side, he can at least dive into the ditch to maybe avoid the impact of a collision. And I just as a matter of routine, what I do is if I see a car on the side of the road, I don't care if it's emergency or if it's a private vehicle, even if there's nobody in it, I typically will get over.
Yeah.
That's just a reaction in this day and age.
And that's a wise thing to do. The governor of the state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, has indicated that, or admitted that the Safety Act needs some tweaking and revision and so forth. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely agree. This all or nothing, basically, methodology that they're using right now. Either somebody's getting in or somebody's getting out. And, it has so many, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to a seminar, I think it's in early February, and it's going to be a view from the bench, and they're going to have judges from various areas within the state of Illinois commenting on their view of the Safety Act, because they've got to make decisions on, are we going to let somebody out? Are we not going to let somebody out? And, the law was written, first of all, at the 11th hour of a veto session, and it was put forth by the Chicago Black Caucus. And the purpose of it was, well, it's not fair based upon the inequity of incomes to have cash bonds, because some people can't pay those, even though they did the same thing as maybe an affluent person who gets out of jail the next day. I disagree with that, because that's why you have judges, not machines, that are making these decisions. And I've said many times, let's take Peoria as an example. Let's say you've got somebody out in the northwest side of Peoria that's in $1 million house who gets in trouble for, let's say let's say a DUI, okay, whatever. I'm just trying to, and you get somebody from perhaps in the less affluent area of town, let's say down on the south side or the East Bluff, who gets a DUI. Well, you know, the guy on the affluent guy can maybe swing $1,000 bond, and that will mean something to him to come back to court. The guy that may not have a lot of money, lives in, let's say, the East Bluff, south side, wherever, maybe $100 would have the same impact to him. And that was always something you would argue is the person's ability and finances in order to set the appropriate bond. Now you don't consider that. Now it's just all or nothing. And if you're charged with a qualifying offense and you are a real and present danger to another persons or the community, then you, based on the facts of your arrest, as best they know them, then you are subject to being detained. And you know, I don't know the details on the most recent controversial case, but there was a young man that was arrested this week after an investigation, aggravated battery to a 2-year-old child. Child had really severe, allegedly, injuries that the doctor said were non-accidental. And that person was, it's a class, I believe it's a Class X felony, meaning probation is not eligible for probation, so that would qualify. And I'm thinking the facts of that case are pretty egregious, but I don't know. He was released. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not bringing it up as to criticize because I don't have the facts, and I did not know what went down in court. But that kind of caught me as unusual. But again, I'm willing to recognize that there was stuff probably said and done during that hearing yesterday, or the day before, that maybe had an impact on that. So. You know, I've got several clients that are being held right now on cases where typically it involved, in Peoria, one in particular was a crime of violence, a shooting. I've got a couple over in another county. One was a sex crime and one was a drug crime. And I've argued repeatedly trying to get these guys out. And I'm up against Woodford County and it hasn't worked out, unfortunately. But, you know, it's... frankly, the state has a lot of control because when they come in, they may say, we're not seeking detention, we are seeking detention, what have you. And you know, you kind of throw the book at the judge and say, look, Judge, I want my client out. He's got to go to work. He's got to support his family. Let's put a monitor on him. Let's make him, let's say, do spot checks where probation or pretrial services checks on him. Let's do a home visit, unannounced. Let's eliminate, make sure he does not have any alcohol, does not have any weapons, anything like that. And I've heard in some counties, and it really is frustrating, to say, well, pretrial services doesn't have the capability to do all those things. They're just undermanned. Well, okay, Illinois, you enacted the law. Let's appropriate the funds to hire the personnel to carry out this law. So they ought to go back to, in my opinion, the way it was. I don't think they will. I don't know what they're going to do to tweak it. But they're going to, I think they're going to have to give judges more discretion, no matter, at the end of the day. How they do that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was on the county board, there would be mandated laws passed by the General Assembly, but no funding to implement, to support it. And that's is typical, at least for the state of Illinois. I want to go back to these detention hearings. My understanding is the courts are busy and crowded. And with the Safety Act, now they have to deal with detention hearings. Has that made matters worse rather than better for attorneys and for judges?
Well, you know, there is now, they've had to devote more resources on the local level to detention hearings. Peoria has a judge that now everybody almost that's arrested at some point will go in front of a judge. The state's attorney does have the ability, for example, if somebody's arrested, let's say on a Friday night, and they're in jail overnight, or they're maybe in jail until Sunday morning, the state's attorney can agree to release them if it's a rather lower level allegation or offense. But, you know, you're talking now, I mean, for example, in Woodford County, I think it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they have detention hearings from 1:30 to 2:30. That's every day. The appellate courts have had to add judges because so many of these cases are being appealed. and it's supposed to be a fast track appeal under the law. You know, and the other thing too is, frankly, and whether this is right, wrong, or otherwise, is the counties are, even though they're spending more time, they devote more resources to the detention hearings and the detainees, they're losing money than from what they used to do, because when they were in the cash, people posted a cash bond, 10% of that bond, no matter win, lose, or draw, the county would retain. So, you know, if somebody came in and posted a $5,000 bond, then they went to trial and won, they're getting $4,500 back. The county's going to have $500 of it. That's been eliminated. And of course, that's really, especially in smaller counties, that was a
hurt them economically, didn't it? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Do you always argue for release of your clients, or are there times when you might say, no, why don't you stay behind bars?
No, I typically, since the Safety Act's been in place, typically argue for release. If it's a case where there's concern about my client's conduct or his or her propensities, I might argue for release, but I'll argue for release with conditions. Let's give this person the benefit of the doubt. There are times I know going in that this person's not going to be released, but if I don't argue for release, they're going to think I'm really not their advocate at that point. So, you know, I'm going to be realistic about it. I'm not going to say, you know, let's give them a lollipop and get bus pass. You know, you know, but you got to do to make the system work. And I've had some cases where the state has sought detention. I've argued against it. I thought this person's probably going to get detained and wasn't. So, you know, I just think the judges hate it. I think it is very inefficient. I don't think the purpose of the legislation was ever legitimate to begin with, and I think they could have adjusted the existing law to maybe fit better with the concerns that the Black Caucus and the General Assembly espoused.
All right, we're talking with Peoria Defense Attorney Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, I have a question. This is probably going to be one of the easier answers you can come up with.
Uh-oh, that's never a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Jack Tatum, and I played for the Oakland Raiders back in 1977, and I broke Darryl Stingley's neck, paralyzing him. What difference is it that in the heat of the moment, a linebacker or a defensive player injures or kills an offensive player, where when this lady up in Minneapolis was involved with ICE people, and she knew there's a risk of danger, and this guy in the heat of the moment shoots his gun to stop her. Why isn't Jack Tatum at fault for injuring Darryl Stingley in an NFL football game?
Well, yeah, okay. I don't think, well, for one thing, when those guys walk onto a football field, they do something called assuming the risk.
Right.
And you don't know, now are you going to say Tatum, didn't they nickname him the assassin?
Yeah.
Who's a hard hitter, but there's a lot of people that were hard hitters over the years. Dick Butkus and Mel Blount, Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were such a sports fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, Sullivan, Notre Dame, I mean, they go together.
Well, I wish they did, but they did. It didn't work out for me.
Okay.
Spoon River, Sullivan.
I know they're assuming the risk.
Yeah,
but I'm getting down to that split second when he made his decision to stop her with the gun, and she made a decision to floor it and get out of there with people in the area. That they're both assuming the.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's assuming the risk because she escalated the situation. She's got to realize there would be consequences for her not obeying a valid command.
Yeah.
And who knows if she would have been, let's say she would have simply waited, and the police officer, the agent came up there and said, ma'am, you need to get your car moved. You're impeding our job. You're impeding traffic, whatever. Okay, I'll do that.
She floors it.
She floors it, and that never has a good ending. And so, in this case with the Darryl Stingley situation, unless it was so egregious, and I'm sure that Tatum
Well, he didn't mean to hurt him.
Didn't mean it, and, it's just a freak thing when somebody gets hit that way, and
Yeah.
you break your
break your neck.
break your spine, you break your neck.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have happened. I mean, that's why football's adjusting their rules now to discourage that, but it wasn't discouraged
Back
or
then.
prohibited back then.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I know you got to be on the road again with Willie Nelson. In this case, Kevin Sullivan, thanks as always for coming in. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You do the same, and we'll see you next week.
You got it. Kevin Sullivan, Peoria defense attorney. Always a pleasure. News, weather, sports coming up. You're having breakfast with Roger and friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in wonderful Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. It's time for news, weather, and sports on WAZU FM 90.7 on this beautiful Friday morning, the 9th of January. And we start with a check of the weather brought to you by your hometown community banks. Division of Morton Community Bank, ready for serving you. Look for the clock tower, and you'll know they have time for you. Member FDIC. Sam Lilly has our weather. Sam?
Yes, Roger. It's Friday, January 9th. There will be weather today. That's it. Mostly cloudy and windy today, high of 46. Tonight, cloudy with a slight chance for rain after midnight, low around 34. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow early, then the gradual clearing for a sunny day and a high of 40. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold, low of 21. Sunday, sunny and 33. Monday, sunny and 44. Currently, I imagine it's something different now because you haven't scratched this out. It must still be 42 degrees.
Well, let's see. What do we have? 42.
Oh, my gosh.
42.
We have a constant weather.
Yes, it's pretty stable for that. All right, let's get into the news brought to you by Spoon River Home Health. Been around since 1993, providing home health care. Locally owned and operated, Spoon River Home Health. They're available 24/7. You can reach them today at 309-245-0723. With our lead story, here's Terry Chamberlain.
The protests continue in Minneapolis after fellow protester Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent that she'd been accused of trying to hit with her vehicle. Renee's wife, Rebecca Good, is taking the blame for the tragedy. In a posted video, Rebecca said she encouraged Renee to attend the location where ICE agents were operating.
Meanwhile, Chrissy Nome, Homeland Security Secretary, revealed that the shooting victim had been stalking, impeding, and blocking ICE agents for hours before she attempted to run over one of the officers. Nome called her activity domestic terrorism.
The rhetoric by critics of ICE agents and Secretary Nome, as well as President Trump, is totally different than when a Capitol Police officer shot and killed 35-year-old unarmed Ashley Babbitt January 6, 2021. The U.S. Air Force veteran was murdered while trying to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby during demonstrations in Washington, D.C.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday called for calm as he and Minnesota and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry held news conferences that were filled with the F word and other profanity-laced comments. The two men called Nome and other Republicans liars while threatening to charge the ICE agent with murder. We just talked about the legal liability and the issues with Peoria defense attorney Kevin Sullivan. Thank you, Kevin.
The use of a vehicle to attack ICE agents was replicated in Portland, Oregon by radicals in that city. Agents were attempting to question the driver of a car when the driver decided to run them over. Bad decision. Agents shot the driver, wounding him and his female passenger as they fled the scene. The two called for medical help a few miles away and were taken to a local hospital. No word on their condition.
17 Republicans joined Democrats to pass a bill that would extend the Obamacare subsidies for another 3 years. The measure approved by a vote of 230 to 196. Democrats hailed the victory, which was somewhat of a slam against House Speaker Mike Johnson. Political win? Well, we're not so sure because allegedly it has no chance of passing in the Senate where it must receive 60 votes. A similar bill lost last December.
In local news, an 18-year-old, Shamari Joyner, has been charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a felon. Though he didn't actually participate in the beating and robbing of a 17-year-old, Joyner video recorded the incident and posted it on social media. The video shows 5 people, including a 15 and 17-year-old, forcing the victim to disrobe during the attack. Joyner is behind bars this morning.
After the 2 town hall meetings hosted by the Peoria Board of Education this week, the board now will choose between Dr. Jerry Bell and Dr. Renee Andrews to become the district's new superintendent. The unprecedented meeting showed strong popular support for Dr. Andrews to replace the retiring Dr. Sharon Karat.
The state of Illinois is facing a huge long-term debt from unfunded pension obligations into hundreds of billions of dollars, high taxes, and budget deficits, says Republican Darren Bailey. The state has not balanced its budget since 2001 and actually earned an F from watchdog Truth in Accounting. A recent survey by U-Haul said Illinois ranks as one of the worst in the nation for retaining residents. Bailey will be in Peoria next week as he hopes to win the Republican nomination for governor in March. 3 other Republicans will be on the ballot: Ted Dabrowski, James Mendrick, and Joe Severino.
And a final note, services for Mark Olson, Peoria hockey legend, will be held beginning Sunday at noon at St. Thomas Church. Visitation from noon to 3 p.m. The funeral will be held Monday at 10:30, also at the St. Thomas Catholic Church. Now we turn to WCBU for more news.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Ryan Denham. Peoria Public Schools Superintendent candidate Jerry Bell described himself as transparent, honest, and blunt at a town hall meeting. Those traits were apparent in several of his answers to questions, but he didn't have an answer as to why some academic programs are not offered at all schools.
I would have to find out specifically why. Why are the schools organized and set up the way they are in terms of the curriculum? There has to be a reason.
Bell spoke about an educational epidemic afflicting many Peoria Public School students, especially young black males, and asked the community to help solve the problems. Renee Andrews is the other finalist in the search for a new superintendent to take over from retiring Sharon DeMullen-Karat. Andrews had her own one-hour town hall meeting Tuesday. And the Peoria School District is also celebrating the opening of its $12 million indoor athletic facility alongside Peoria Stadium. The dome took more than a decade to go from concept to reality. Superintendent Karat says the wait is worth it.
It's taken us a long time, so it's nice to see closure so that the kids can actually have something, a state-of-the-art facility to train and compete.
The entire $19 million project includes upgrades to the 130-year-old stadium, with state funding accounting for about $8 million. A ribbon-cutting ceremony coincided with Peoria Public Schools Foundation's annual breakfast fundraiser. Congress is expected to vote sometime later today on a plan to extend health care subsidies that expired last month. Democratic Congressman Eric Sorensen says his office is hearing from some of the 400,000 Illinoisans who say they are now priced out of health insurance.
It's unacceptable because these are real families. These are real people. These are people with disabilities. They're senior citizens. These are kids.
Sorensen says health care is especially important now when flu cases are rising. Bradley University's Turner Center for Entrepreneurship is getting $1.75 million in state funding to continue assisting small businesses. The 3-year grant will continue operations of the Illinois Small Business Development Center as well as the Associated International Trade Center. You can find more on these stories at WCBU.org. I'm Ryan Denham.
All right, Ryan, let's get into the world of sports. Sam Lilly is here with the latest scores and Bradley basketball. Sam, you're on there.
Thank you, Roger. The Bradley Braves, fresh from a lopsided win over the Drake Bulldogs, take the court at the Peoria Civic Center tomorrow afternoon against Northern Iowa. Tip-off time is an unusual 5 p.m. Bradley is tied for fourth with Belmont with 4 wins, and 2.
You're eager for baseball.
I mean, get the baseball out here. 4 wins and 2 losses in the Missouri Valley Conference. Murray State leads the league with 6 wins and no losses. Illinois, speaking of baseball, they traded Patrick Wisdom. Remember that? He was a good hitter for the Cubs.
Yeah, for the Cubs, yeah.
Yeah, they traded him.
Where'd he go?
Now you're asking for too much information.
Okay, I'm
now.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They traded him. They didn't. Who did
They did trade him,
They traded him. I
so
can't
they
remember.
got something in
They
return.
got something back. Yeah, can't remember now. Illinois State and Northern Iowa are tied for second with 4-1 records. So tomorrow's game is big for both Iowa and Bradley. Go Bradley! The college football playoffs resumed last night in Glendale, Arizona, with Ole Miss playing Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. It was a
You're getting a lot of calls this morning.
yeah,
a lot of
too early
fans.
for that. With Ole Miss playing Miami in the Fiesta Bowl, it was a good one at halftime. The 12-2 Hurricanes led the Ole Miss Rebels 17-13 in the semifinal game. Miami prevailed 31-27. The other semifinal contest will be played tonight between number 1 rated Indiana taking the field against number 5 Oregon in the Peach Bowl. That game on ESPN takes place in Atlanta. You would know that because the Atlanta Peach, that's the Peach Bowl. I mean, what's that? Why is Atlanta known for peaches? Georgia peaches. That's what it was.
Yeah, you're right. And the bowl is quite a peach.
Back to basketball. Here's some final collegiate scores. Rutgers was no competition for the Fighting Illini in Champaign last night, leading 43-16 in the first half. Final, Illinois 81 and Rutgers 55.
They're the real thing this year.
Yeah, and Bradley women beat who they beat?
Valpo.
They beat Valparaiso.
Yes.
Repariso, Parizo. I heard you guys arguing about that yesterday.
Yeah,
about
it's called Valpo.
Valpo. The women beat Valpo 80-44.
Wow.
In hockey, our Rivermen are in Birmingham this evening for a 7 p.m. face-off with the Bulls. Both teams will square off again Saturday night. The next home game for Peoria is January 17th against Quad Cities. Currently, the Rivermen lead the SPHL standings by 1 point, and the Bears play the Packers tomorrow at 7.
What's your prediction? Come on.
I'm predicting that there's going to be a riot somewhere because not all people have Amazon Prime to watch the game.
Oh, good point.
This is a big game.
This is a big game.
I tell you, these NFL owners, everything is money. I understand that. It's a lot of money, and they're going to take the venue that returns the greatest amount of cash, you might say.
Yeah.
Well, that's sports. Sam Lilly. Thanks, Sam.
You bet.
Well, that's the sound of good guitar. Say, we've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. You've been at the insurance business for over 40 years. Explain the difference between you as a, quote, broker and what you do and an agent with a company like State Farm. What's the advantage of me coming to you versus just talking to an agent with State Farm or Allstate or Country Mutual, etc.?
Well, a broker tends to, it's always been said that a broker represents the client and the agent represents the insurance company.
Well, that's pretty clear.
Yeah. I mean, typically, and I'm in a small market, so I don't have a lot of insurance companies to write business with, but some of the big brokers will have 4 or 5 different companies. They can keep moving you back and forth if they want to from one company to the next, whichever has the best premium or the best financial
Coverage.
rating or the best coverage.
Well, let me stop you at this point. The average person doesn't know about what you just said, a financial rating. But to you as a broker, as an insurance specialist, financial rating is important, isn't it?
Yeah, primarily because I don't think they keep it, they monitor it very closely. Because I had a company that was out of Iowa, and I wrote a $100,000 annuity for a farmer, and they went from an A+ rating by AM Best. AM Best is the main rating company.
Financially.
Rating, yeah. and it went from an A+ rating to an A- to a B to a C, and then went out of business. And that was in a span of about 90 days. So if you can go from an A+ rating to a out of business, somebody dropped the ball on the statistical analysis of that company.
What's that do to your client?
Peed him off. But
say watered off. That's a little better.
But I'm pretty sure that he got his money back.
He did.
Yeah, because they're protected by the Illinois Guarantee Fund.
I see.
Or probably the Iowa Guarantee Fund at the time, because it was an Iowa company.
Okay.
But he didn't have any problems. But for me, the idea that they went from an A+ to an A- to a B to a out of business.
In 3 months.
In 3 months, yeah. Somebody was
that's
hiding
kind
the
of
bacon.
somebody was covering up their assets. Pardon the expression.
But most of them are pretty solid. I mean, I don't have any companies that have ever been below an A rating, except for that. And he came to me because somebody told him about how high the interest rates were being paid by that company out of Iowa, and he said, "I just want to go with these." And so I said, "Well, as big as your premium is, I'll get licensed with them, and I can write your policy." So that. The difference between a broker and an agent, we're not that much different. It's just that I can write for various other companies, and a captive agent they can't. Their paycheck is written by the insurance company, and they're pretty much stuck. They can't really negotiate or have any leverage because it's like trying to argue with your boss. You're probably not going to win very often.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but
go ahead.
But I will. Who are your go-to companies for, let's say, homeowners insurance?
Well, I have access to a number of companies, and I tell you the truth. I was a fairly big insurance agent back in the 90s, and I became a big agent in about 2 years. Because I bought 3 insurance agencies.
Well, that'll help.
And I did that because interest rates had gone from 9% to 18%, and I had borrowed money, and the balloon payments came due at 18%, or the renewal of the note came due at 18%, and I had to pick up a bunch of revenue quick. Well, there were 3 older agents in Farmington, all about the same age, all World War II vets and all that, and they were looking to sell their business, and I needed the cash. I didn't need the expenses, so they came with it.
They don't always come together, do
no,
they?
But I needed the revenue to cover the 18% interest I was paying on some loans. And so I had an overabundance of clients at the time that slowly have passed away, and now I don't do a lot of property and casualty business, but as you know, I went into the Medicare field and do some life and health and long-term care once in a while, but not a very big auto and home agent. Mm-hmm. But I worked with another agency, and we kind of came on.
Co-refer to you?
Yeah, that I can write with that company, and they look at me as a sub-producer of that agency, and I can write auto insurance through them. They'll probably be the agency that'll buy me out when I go belly up.
When you decide.
When I go belly down.
You might be going belly down. I don't know. But at any rate, let's get into what you specialize in, and that's the Medicare and the enrollment period.
Yeah.
You had talked earlier during the enrollment period that ended December 7th, that in January you can still make changes.
If you're currently on a Medicare Advantage plan, there's an open enrollment period that runs from January through March, and you can change. You can't, if you don't have a Medicare Advantage plan, you can't enroll in one during that period. Your time ended December 7th. Mm-hmm. But if you want to look around for something that might be better than what you have, you've had problems with them in the past or whatever, yeah, you can still from now until, but the policy would be effective. If you do it in January, it's effective February 1st. If you do it in February, it's effective March 1st, and so on. One of the things, when I was driving over here this morning, I wanted to make sure I brought this up. They're still calling people they still solicit. If you get a phone call and the first thing you hear is hello, and then you hear a thing called blip, like that, it's a robocall. The computer is calling numbers right off of a spreadsheet, and when you hear if you say hello back to him, that's when you'll hear this little beep,
Beep.
and that's the line tying together of real person to you.
Versus the recording.
And it's been illegal for 20 years to be solicited by phone for a Medicare Advantage plan. And that all came about in the early days. You go out and somebody was paying $2,000 or $3,000 a year for a Medicare supplement, and you said, well, I have a plan that you won't pay anything for, because Medicare decides, or you decide, do you want to have your insurance delivered by an insurance company that will fill the gaps of Medicare? That's a Medicare supplement, and that would cost $2,000-3,000 a year. Or do you want Medicare to buy you a policy, and then you don't pay anything, but you pay co-payments as you encounter health care? And not sure where I was going with that, but anyway, that's the well, you asked me something. What was it?
Well, about the open period of time.
Okay, yeah, and I want to talk
changes,
about these solicitations are totally, and they're always going to have it.
phone.
They're always going to have an accent. I mean, I can talk all I want about Medicare Advantage plans on radio. I can do it in the newspaper ads, or I can send them email. But you cannot use the phone to solicit
You
business.
Can. That's interesting. Was not aware of that.
And
apparently they aren't either.
And I probably get 10 scam calls a day.
Really?
Because I'm Medicare age, and they call me, and I don't want to tell you some of the words I've used to abuse them, but I tell them, and most of the time they're not even salespeople. They don't have a license to sell the product, but they're doing it for some agent.
They're in a call center.
Their call center
Yep.
that's owned
Right,
by an insurance agent, and they're using that insurance agent's license, but he's using these people to have headphones and make these computer calls, and then once he gets somebody on the line, he might transfer you to a licensed agent. And that's when I say, don't you know that for 20 years now you're not able to solicit by telephone? Well, we're not soliciting. Well, you're subscribing to a robocall service, and that's using the telephone. I don't care what you say, but government doesn't do a thing about it. But anyway, if you hear that beep, you know you're being scammed. So.
The thing that bothers me is that there are so many. If you get a call and it's 309, I used to think, well, that's someone locally.
Yeah,
but it isn't.
No.
It is outright fraud, because they're using the 309.
Not only the 309, but sometimes the three-number prefix. I mean, like we know, okay, 688 and 685 is one section of Peoria.
Right.
The 691s and 692s were in the north side as they started expanding.
698, I think, is Tazewell County.
I think so. 699 and 698 are Tazewell County. Yeah, and so when you look at the first six numbers, really thinking, oh, might be a local call.
Exactly.
And it isn't at all.
Right.
Yeah, I've gotten so far this morning 3 scam calls. I've got a service that capitalizes every letter of the caller's ID, and I've had calls from State Farm that were a scam. I know State Farm's not going to call me for insurance, and I have all kinds of crazy names. And then what gets me is the ones with crazy names, and then they have a 245 number, which is the prefix for Farmington.
Yes,
and I said, you're a liar.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
person, they're buying dead people's phone numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mom's phone. I'll get over there and look at the
The
call log.
Yeah.
And there might be 16 calls. And
No
so
kidding.
I scan through and look at them, and there's not one valid.
Not one valid phone.
Well, they're valid numbers, but they're not valid in.
They're valid numbers, but they're not the one who's calling you.
Exactly.
I have a suggestion for what it's worth, Sam, and that is you can actually have fun with them.
I do.
Okay, good. You can
But
turn
there's a lot of
and-
profanities that go into fun.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but in the beginning it was irritating, and then you stop to think, and a dear friend said, "Let me handle the next call you get," And so I did, and it was a riot. I mean,
Royce?
It was.
Did you use
no,
Royce?
No,
Oh.
Royce has been gone since 2013, but a current friend, and it was absolutely a riot. I thought, you know what, that can be fun if you have the right attitude for it. The other thing that gets me a little bit is that sometimes our cell phone will say potential spam.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when you say that, then you don't answer it. Well, one day I answered, and it was a legitimate call.
Yeah,
And I thought, well, how many of these are legitimate? How did they, through their wonderful technology, know it's potential spam or not?
How can they know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I felt, I thought, well, I'm glad I answered this because I think, as it turned out, it was a robocall to remind me about a doctor's appointment.
Yeah. Well, you guys heard this from me, but I sent everybody out, maybe not you guys because you were already on that particular plan, but I sent out 300 letters to people during the open enrollment period because the zero premium plan had changed a lot, and
you did send us that, yes.
And the co-payments went up. And I thought I got to get in touch with all these people and let them know that there's another.
You had to use a robocall then?
Huh? No.
No, you used letters.
I used letters. I sent out about 400 letters.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And I felt like I had to do that because there was enough of a change because of the prescription drug program. There was enough of a change that I had to notify people. And then I was getting calls to make appointments, and I had only 52 days to deal with this.
Oh, wow.
And
you have how many
and then I was
calls?
getting what prompted my saying this. And then if I sprinkle in 10 or 12 scam calls while I'm making all these other calls, I was about to pull my hair out and say, I give up.
Take your hat off. I want to see it.
Yeah.
If you did.
No, it's back here. I'm losing it.
Okay, all right.
Well, you know, another factor, and you were the one that told me this too, that when you answer, okay, let's say you've answered the phone call, you go, hello, and then the person will say, is this so-and-so?
Yeah.
Don't say yes, because they'll record that. I'm sure that's what.
Yeah, do they really do that?
Yes.
I've heard that.
Yeah, that
years.
happened to me one time where
They actually take your yes and use it
I said,
against
I
you.
didn't buy that. Well, yes,
Yeah.
you did. We have your voice on record, and it was a recording of me saying yes to something else.
Yep. So now it's become rather rude. Like I just got a call. Well, I had called the lawn care service that takes
Right.
care of the condos.
Mm-hmm.
We'd gotten a notice that we had an unpaid invoice. So I called them and gave them the information, left my number. Well, then they called me back Monday, and I didn't recognize the number because I was in the car. So he says, hello, is this Terry Chamberlain? And I'm like, who are you? I don't say yes anymore right off the bat. So it sounds very rude when you did tell the person, well,
It's hard not to.
Who are you? And then he explained it. I said, oh, okay. And then I told him, I said, I'm sorry, I don't do this anymore, but because of this. And he goes, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
And he wasn't offended.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got to cover yourself anymore.
Yeah, it is. It really is an ongoing issue when your phone rings and you look at the number and try to decide, should I answer it or not? Like 312 is typical Chicago.
Chicago.
And I just got a call yesterday from Ryan Curl, our dear friend, who is sight impaired, and but it did say his name. But I've gotten calls, numerous calls from 312 all this week, and I don't know. And I take the position, if it's important, they'll leave a message.
I try to go in and block them.
You do.
And I block them and also delete that number off my list. But when you have somebody that you blocked that shouldn't have been blocked, then that just stops me from doing it again, and then the calls keep going on and on.
Yeah.
Well, and that do not call registry, what a farce that is.
Yeah. That turned out to be, well, as you said, a farce for that matter. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour. Let's get into the news, and our weather guy will be on shortly.
Let me do weather first. Right before. I'll give you the weather first.
All right, and we will tell you that The weather is, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Brought to you by Kyle Varnold, an insurance professional who can shop around on your behalf to find the right coverage at the right price. And Kyle will be in shortly to talk about the weather. In the meantime, his phone number is 309-682-0519. And we're breaking new territory. One insurance representative and broker is reading the
easy.
weather.
We're easy.
You're
We're just
well,
easy.
both neat guys.
Yeah, Kyle's a good guy. Okay, mostly cloudy and windy today, high of 46. Tonight, cloudy with a slight chance for rain after midnight, low around 34. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow early, then gradual clearing for a sunny day and a high of 40. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold, a low of 21. Sunday, sunny and 33. Monday, sunny and 44. Currently, it's 42. Now the news.
And the news brought to you by Kathy Reynolds, a realtor, and she's been helping others for more than 8 years. She knows real estate, and you'll get to know Kathy Reynolds at 309-696-2162.
There are more protests in Minneapolis after fellow protester Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent that she'd been accused of trying to hit with her vehicle. Renee's wife, Rebecca Good, is taking the blame for the tragedy. In a posted video, Rebecca said she encouraged Renee to attend the location where ICE agents were operating. Meanwhile, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, revealed that the shooting victim had been stalking, impeding, and blocking ICE agents for hours before she attempted to run over one of the vehicles with her vehicle. Noem called her activity domestic terrorism. The rhetoric by critics of ICE agents and Secretary Noem, as well as President Trump, is totally different than when a Capitol police officer shot and killed 35-year-old unarmed Ashley Babbitt January 6, 2021. The U.S. Air Force veteran was murdered while trying to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby during demonstrations in Washington, D.C. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday called for calm as he and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey held news conferences. However, the news conferences were laced with the F word and other profanity-laced comments.
Yeah, a lot of that was very calming.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, calmed me down.
It reminds me of an old cartoon I saw. Oh, we're peaceful. Yeah, anyway, moving on. The two men called Noem and other Republicans liars while threatening to charge the ICE agent with murder. Hollow threat, or can state authorities prosecute a federal employee? Well, Peoria Defense Attorney Kevin's answered that for us this morning when he was here. The use of a vehicle to attack ICE agents was replicated in Portland, Oregon by radicals in that city. Agents were attempting to question the driver of a car when the driver decided to run them over. Bad decision. Agents shot the driver, wounding him and his female passenger as they fled the scene. The two called for medical help a few miles away and were taken to a local hospital. No word on their condition. In local news, an 18-year-old, Shamari Joyner, has been charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm as a felon. Though he didn't actually participate in the beating and robbing of a 17-year-old, Joyner video recorded the incident and posted it on social media. The video shows 5 people, including a 15 and a 17-year-old, forcing the victim to disrobe during the attack. Joyner is behind bars this morning. After the 2 town hall meetings hosted by the Peoria Board of Education this week, the board will choose between Dr. Jerry Bell and Dr. Renee Andrews to become the district's new superintendent. The unprecedented meetings showed strong popular support for Dr. Andrews to replace the retiring Dr. Sharon Karat. And those are the headlines, Roger.
And as you probably can tell, if you're on YouTube, we have been joined by our good friend, Kyle Varnold. Hey, that is neat. Have we got that on YouTube?
Yes,
One guy has, Kyle is a Packer fan.
Yes.
And, of course, Sam Lilly.
It's a battle of good and evil.
Is Chicago Bears. What's the line betting on that game right now?
1.5 favored to the Packers.
Which means what?
The Packers are favored by 1.5 points, which is pretty much, it'll be a shootout. One thing to keep an eye on, and weather really does come into play.
Yes.
Yes, we are looking
Good
at
point.
snow tomorrow night for Chicago, particularly lake effect snow.
Lake effect snow,
Yeah. So
it could be also snow, rain.
No, it'll be
No,
snow.
Okay.
It'll be snow. Yep.
Because we're supposed to get a mix of that, are we not?
Yeah, we'll see rain in the overnight hours. It'll transition to snow after about 3, 4
Tonight?
o'clock. Yeah. I don't really see much sticking.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't see maybe a half inch at best.
Really?
Yeah, I think just the
Do you think
dusting.
the field is heated?
Huh?
You think
The field?
the field is heated?
Yes, it is.
Is
But
it
what
really?
wasn't
I didn't know
heated
that.
Was the Packers sideline on the December 20th game. Do you remember that? For some reason, the heater was not working.
I didn't know why. I can't imagine why.
I can't imagine why.
You know how honest
think maybe
Illinois is.
Yeah, exactly. You think maybe they'll have it fixed by tomorrow night's game?
I wouldn't count on it.
I wouldn't count on it either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay. I look us to right our errors tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And,
What do you think the medical condition is of Jordan Love? Is he fully recovered?
Oh, he's fully
partially?
recovered. They just
Okay.
wouldn't. They coach LaFleur. The coaches decided not to play him because they didn't want to risk any injury
Yeah.
against Minnesota, which was a smart move. Same thing with
Absolutely.
Malik Willis. That's why we had Timmy Toon out there throwing interceptions and getting us 3 points.
Timmy
So
A little disgruntled, are you?
a little, yeah. You notice Timmy's not playing tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We found another backup quarterback.
Did you really?
Yeah, Desmond Riddler.
So Timmy is gone?
Timmy's gone.
He's not even going to dress. Huh?
He's not going to dress.
You know, I felt sorry for the guy, really.
I did too. I mean, I felt sorry for him, but at the same time,
You
it's
know,
just-
he didn't get the job done.
yeah, it's the thing.
I can't
know.
believe they're not going to play Love if he's okay.
Oh, they'll play Love. Oh, you mean last week?
No, tomorrow.
Oh no, the Love is starting. Love
Okay.
will start.
Oh, I
Holding
thought
him
it.
back for
They were
it,
holding
saving
them back
Oh,
for
okay.
the playoffs because
Yeah.
they knew they couldn't advance past
Yeah.
the 7th seed.
Yeah.
So what's
And
the point?
and those games weren't that.
Correct, that game wasn't.
They're all important,
Yeah.
but not that
It
important.
wasn't of consequence.
Right,
Either way, you're
correct.
going in the playoffs as the 7th seed. So
Right.
from the management standpoint, as a fan, it's disappointing to lose to the Vikings at 16-3.
Yes.
But it was the Vikings against our third string team, essentially. We had a few starters.
Was he?
And we pulled them out at halftime.
Was Timmy Toon? Was he just a taxi quarterback?
Yeah. He's came
That's
up from,
what they call
he came up from the practice
players
squad.
who play in scrimmage games.
Yep. He came up from the practice squad. Yeah. He was
okay.
the third stringer. Yeah.
Okay, so you're picking Green Bay to
Yes,
win. All right.
obviously, yeah.
Mhm. What are you picking? Besides your nose.
I was going to say that you're stealing my thunder.
Based off his shirt.
I just want you to look at this Packer fan here.
Yes.
His hair's all disheveled. Looks like he just got out of a concentration.
well, he
out
did-
of bed.
Yeah.
It's the style.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping the Bears.
Well,
I think the Packers probably have a better chance of winning than the Bears do, just based on how they looked in the past. The Bears don't have a defense.
No.
And,
their secondary is very porous.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's why the weather's going to play an impact. 'cause
that's
if
a good
it's
point.
snow,
Good.
and if it's
Might
windy,
be closer than
it
we
will
think.
limit Jordan Love's throwing
Yeah.
capabilities, especially
But
his
he
deep
can
balls.
run.
We're gonna let Caleb Williams run.
Caleb Williams can run. Jordan Love.
We're
doesn't
gonna let him
have
run
to
every
lose.
down.
Well, I look for big things from not Williams, but Manungai or Mungai.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a
I look
running
for
back.
big things from him on the running side, and then Josh Jacobs on our end. I look for big things. Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson. Another one to keep an eye on is Cole Kmet.
Well,
who-
both tight
Yeah,
ends.
he's-
We got-
both Cole Kmet
He's
and then
a
Loveland.
tight end. He and Loveland.
Yeah, him
and
and
they can
Loveland.
run short routes.
They're good. Yeah, I really like Loveland. I think he could be the next Gronkowski. By all means. And I mean, Chicago. I don't expect a cakewalk game. I expect. I mean, we'll be playing angry because of what happened the last 2 minutes and 36 seconds of December 20th game, which we've all talked about in great detail, and myself included. Yeah, and then that overtime that was a joke. But being up 10 points and everything goes wrong. But no. I look forward to a great game tomorrow night at Soldier Field.
What time is the kickoff?
7 p.m.
But it's
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you can't watch it unless you join Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. You can join Amazon for free for
You
a
can?
month. You can do a free trial.
You can.
And unless you are politically adamant about
gotta have
Jeff Bezos and Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You gotta have a smart
Yeah.
TV, don't
You have to have a smart TV. Yep, correct. You
Yeah,
have to have a smart TV.
and how much is it a month to join Prime?
I just renewed Prime and it was $60 a year.
Is it a year? Okay, so we have Prime. It's like 140 some a year, but we have the
Really?
free shipping. Yeah,
Oh,
so, yeah,
140.
the 2
Well,
days.
you're loaded. So.
Oh, stop
that's,
it.
Hey, let's get into the weather.
Yes, please. Let's
What's
get
going
into
on today and this weekend?
Well, what's really, really interesting, I'm really excited to share this with you guys, is we actually hit a record high today at 12:03 this morning.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Which
60
was
degrees,
60 degrees.
60 degrees, yep.
Wow.
Yep.
At a little after midnight.
A little after midnight, yeah, just after midnight. Yep, 60 degrees was recorded.
No wonder I was so
Yeah.
warm in my bed.
That's right. And then yesterday we hit a high of 61, which was a new record.
remarkable.
Yep. So,
Remarkable.
yeah,
What time
so,
was that?
It was at 8:34 p.m. last night.
Oh,
Yep. So yeah, after that line of storms, the heavy thunderstorms, the heavy rain.
And it was heavy.
It was.
wasn't
Oh
it?
yeah, the wind and everything. It came
And-
through.
and-
Yeah, we got 1.3 inches in my rain gauge in Washington.
Oh, wow.
And the nice thing is, because it's been warm, the last week or so, or last couple of weeks,
The ground soaked it
ground
up.
was soaked it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It
And
wasn't
that's good
across
for
the ground.
farmers.
Very much so. We needed the
They
precipitation,
needed
we
it.
needed the rain. Yeah, if you noticed, actually, after the rain last night, the dew worms were out.
didn't
And-
look.
yeah, it was scary. Probably didn't.
Uh,
Not late
was
at
that
night,
a
but-
musical group?
Oh,
What are you talking
no, the worms, the worms that come out of the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
No, I just
Oh,
kidding.
okay, no.
All right,
No, the dew
work
worms.
with me.
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
yeah,
Night
yeah.
crawlers.
But now we've got
Night crawlers, yeah,
we've
sure,
got a cold front moving in. Are
Yeah,
we
we have a
not?
cold front coming in, and that's what's going to change everything really. So we already have winds up from the west, northwest. The cold front moved through, so we'll get that colder air filtering in. That system's coming out of the southwest, so it's coming out of the Four Corners. Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah. And as it moves across the Great Plains, it actually will accumulate some warmth to it. So we'll actually start off on a rainy note in the overnight hours, and they'll transition over to snow on the backside. I really don't see a significant accumulation, maybe a half inch at
Like a
best.
half inch. And when
Yeah.
when can we expect that?
It'll be in the overnight, so you'll see it in the
Tonight?
morning. Yeah,
So,
it'll be
okay.
between probably, 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Were you driving at all when the storm hit last night?
Oh yeah, no, I was driving down Springfield last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the rain was just going sideways.
Oh yeah, were you out
And-
in it too?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the wind was blowing you off the road. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you're holding your steering wheel like
Yeah, it
this
was.
to stay in your lane.
It was that bad.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, thankfully. I was in my car, so it's more aerodynamic for the wind. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I saw a lot of vehicles shaking on the
Really?
road. Yeah. I was
What
heading-
time are we talking about?
So I went down to Springfield. This was between 5:30 and
6.
7 last night.
Yeah.
But I drove through. It felt like I was driving a car wash until I got to Lincoln, and then I was out of it.
Then you
So,
drove.
yep,
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the debate as whether or not to pull off the side of the road and wait or keep driving to drive through it. And
Yeah.
I've always taken the position to drive through it.
Yes.
Just keep going and you'll drive out of it. Or maybe you'll drive into the worst of
I
it.
always followed the taillights of the car in front of me,
Yes, yeah.
figuring that I don't have to look over here and these people coming at me. I'll just follow this car. And
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they go off the road. Yeah.
You can follow
you-
trucks too as long as you don't get too close.
Yes.
Because you get the spider
You get
from
too
it.
close,
But
you
if
get
you stay
backslash.
back,
It's
you
dangerous.
follow
No.
their taillights. If they go off the road, you'll go off the road.
you'll go with
Yeah.
them.
There was a truck.
And they sit up kind of high.
Yeah.
And they can see the road better than we can they
Yeah,
not?
oh yeah, just south of Delavan, between Delavan and Emden, there was a truck flying, because I was going maybe 62, 63 on 155, and he was probably going 75. He
Really?
went flying by, and his backsplash came up,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it shook the car a little
Did
bit.
it
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he slow down
There's the
then?
wind- No, not at all. He
Been
was
there, done that.
flying.
Then, yeah.
I didn't even
That's
catch up with him.
ridiculous.
Yep.
So how long are we going to enjoy the cold snap?
Well, we were flipping the switch, so we talked about it a couple of times now. So we really flip the switch next week. So we'll be back in the upper 30s, low 40s next week, and then come January 17th, we get really deep in the cold end.
We
and
are, yeah.
drop down. But for the 15th, though, we are looking at decent weather.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, for moving day.
Yep.
So be sure to help Miss Terry with the move,
Where
and
you
if
moving?
you can show up, so yeah.
Into the house,
Oh.
from the condo to the house.
Yeah. What's the distance between the two?
Oh, maybe 4 miles. 5
Oh, really?
miles.
Okay. Well, that's
so
not
bad
too
at
bad.
distance.
Yeah.
It just.
You got a
Actually-
lot to move?
This is going to be the big stuff: the bedroom furniture, the living room furniture,
Yeah.
my bookcase, and stuff like that. So.
What
yeah.
are you doing with the? Is it replacing or did you sell some? Get rid of some? I mean, you can't put living room furniture into living room furniture.
Well, we have a family room at the house too,
Oh,
so
okay.
I got rid of some stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, my stuff's going to go into the living room. In the family room, I kept mom's stuff.
You're growing
I
in
see.
the house that I was at?
Yes.
Your mom's house?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have people moving you?
Yeah, I have a moving firm. Yeah.
Okay.
Woohoo! I mean, all the
I was
all
this close to
You don't need-
volunteering,
yeah,
but when you say you're paying a moving firm, let them do the work then.
well, that's it. My age anymore. You know, we're all old, and I don't have any
Oh,
young
you're a kid.
people to help move anymore.
Yeah.
I used to get a keg of beer and
Yeah.
people
Yes,
and some
exactly
pizza,
right.
and they'd help you
Yeah.
move. Can't do that anymore.
Well,
No,
the young people today are on the phones.
Well, I was looking to see when that record was. So it was 60 degrees in 1939. So that was the previous record for today, January the
And
9th.
we broke it.
We're up at 61 at 12:03 a.m. Yep.
All right, we'll be right back with more weather after our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles, and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Cats come in all sizes, colors, and personalities. They also come in 37 different species. 7 species are classified as big cats: lions, tigers, leopards, snow leopards, jaguars, clouded leopards, and cheetahs. The remaining 30 species are referred to as small cats, and about half of the small species are usually those kept as companion pets. As for household cats, the largest is usually the Maine Coon and Ragdoll breeds, which can weigh up to 20 pounds. Compare that to the average domestic cat weight of 11 pounds. Now, you have heard me say before I have a Maine Coon, and thankfully he only weighs about 10 pounds. But what I want you to know is that his sleek, silky fur does not retain pollens from the garden, and this makes him an especially good choice since I have always been very allergic to cats. I am continually surprised that he has yet to bother my allergies. I can't vouch for everyone, but if you have an allergy sufferer in your family, and you also have someone who wants a cat, I would recommend you try the Maine Coon or Ragdoll breed. Of course, these cats will require some brushing to keep their fur from matting. The reason they are so silky is because their fur is very fine in texture. This is probably also why things don't stick in their fur. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
And there you have it, our pet tip of the day. Well, the holidays have come and gone, but Kyle, you had a Christmas party
We did, yeah.
yesterday
I
in
was down in
Springfield.
for you. So I
Well, what was that all about?
So my St. Jude Run group, I do Springfield to Peoria every year. We had our Christmas party originally scheduled for, I think it was December 10th. It was a Thursday, but due to the snow, and I actually was the one that made the call, because they reached out to me saying, do we have it, do we not? I was like, no, we got a lot of snow moving in, so, you know, and just the road conditions at the time would not be good to travel. So we rescheduled it to last night, January the 8th, and we had Anvil and Forge in Springfield, Illinois, which is a brewery, really good food right downtown, just a block off from the old state capitol. And just, yeah, it was great seeing the guys, the whole gang, and we just had a really good time. And They had a trivia night going on at this location, so we participated in that. It was just a lot of fun. But it was like driving down through a car wash on the way down there.
Yeah,
Until I got to
guess
Lincoln,
so.
and then it all cleared up. So,
You know, interesting, when you run from Springfield to
Yeah.
Peoria, you run through or by Mason City.
we run through Mason City.
You actually
Yep,
run through
yep,
Mason
absolutely
City.
Mason
Well,
City.
the reason I bring it
good
up,
stop.
they had a memorial service for a family member on my late wife's side, and in Mason City, and they still have a theater where they have local productions and
Yeah.
entertainers, don't
They
they?
have a comedy club too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yep,
yeah.
Mason City limits. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I love it when small towns
Yeah.
retain
Oh.
their local theaters, because they're a thing of the past in Peoria. You know, every now and then, you haven't heard lately, but I think it happens about every 5 years. Somebody's going to resurrect the Madison Theater.
Yes.
Then they get in and say, well, there's nothing here.
Yes.
And there isn't. I mean, it's gone for all intents and purposes. And it's too bad, even though we've had a very active historic preservation organization in Peoria, we've just lost local theaters. The Varsity's gone, the Beverly is gone, the Crest is gone.
Well, the Scottish Rite came back, but that was a tax write-off because now it's gone again. So.
What was that?
The Scottish Rite Theater.
Yeah, it's been
the church
privatized,
became
but
a
now
theater.
it's
But that wasn't a movie house. That was,
was a
in the
church.
beginning, belonged to the Masonic
And then became a theater,
order, and but they turned it into an entertainment
yeah.
venue
That's-
and spent a lot of money on it
You would
too.
call it a theater?
No, I
Right.
called it a venue because a theater to me is you've got the big screen and you're watching
Oh, you're
movies.
thinking, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking theater like acting.
Yeah.
Like
You know, the
singing.
Shrine Mosque, which is now Riverside
Church.
Church, was the entertainment venue in Peoria. The Shrine Mosque was known. I haven't been in there in a long time. I don't know what it was. What, about 2,000 seats with
wow.
a huge stage.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the St. Jude Telethon at
sure?
one time was held in the Shrine Mosque
Wow.
when
Before my time,
Jim
but
Malone, yeah. I got to host as one of the co-hosts of that one year, and it was a perfect venue. But then they moved it to the Civic Center, where it's been for
Yeah,
many
Civic Center.
many
big
years,
exhibit
for that
hall.
matter. Hey, I'm going to get back to sports. They had quite a football game last night.
Yes,
I
they
didn't
did.
get a chance to actually sit down and watch it quarter by quarter,
Yeah.
but it was a tightly contested contest
Yeah, between
that
Miami and Ole Miss.
wound up by Miami winning, 31-27, I think was the final. But
Yeah.
you didn't get a chance to watch. So where's your money tonight
Oh, Indiana.
with Indiana and Oregon?
Oh, Indiana, 100%.
Really?
Indiana,
100%.
absolutely. My money's on Indiana. My money's on Indiana to win it on the 19th. So
What were they last year and the year before? Is Indiana? It's almost like Indiana's been a complete surprise.
No, they were really good last year. They
yeah,
just
they
didn't
have
get
been.
noticed.
Okay.
So
Because,
they
yep,
changed when they got this current coach.
Correct, yep,
He breathed
Yes.
new life into the
Yes.
NFL football program, because they were never ever good over the years.
Exactly. Indiana should be very, very grateful for the College Bowl series now, the championship series, and the way the bracket is, and the 12 teams.
What are the odds
Yep. The odds.
on the Indiana game? Yeah,
The line?
because
Oh,
whatever you want to call it.
No, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not a gambler, as you can tell, but right now I've got a $2 bill in my pocket burning a hole. I think Oregon is going to win.
You do, huh?
Yeah. What are the
Let's
odds?
see what the line is.
What is the line?
In Atlanta, Georgia tonight.
I think it's Indiana.
Indiana 3.5.
So they're expected to win by 3.5
Yep.
points.
And the over/under is 48.5.
So if I were
Which
a
it will
betting
be over
man
48.5,
to win money,
you put money on Oregon.
if
If you want to win more money,
yeah,
you'd put money on Oregon, and you take the spread 3.5. You want it to be close, much like the ISU Montana State
game, yeah,
And that was a 1-point game because they missed the extra point.
yeah.
You know, it's just like,
You
how
know,
heartbreaking is
You
that?
know, that kid will remember that.
Oh, he will.
Until the day he dies.
Yep, correct. Which is like the kicker for Baltimore. He'll remember
Yeah.
that till the day
Yeah.
he dies.
Yeah, and they fired
fired
the
the coach
coach
because of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
because the kicker was bad. Well, he didn't know.
No, he didn't know, but that's just the thing. It's just that,
And you know, this is a guy that won
so
the
costly.
national championship as the coach for the Baltimore Ravens.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a great coach. Absolutely great coach.
But you got to fire somebody, and it's easy to fire the coach.
Yeah. No, it was premature to fire
Apparently,
him.
you don't always remember bad things that happen because people come up to me and tell me that I did something bad, and I don't remember it.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's called a convenient lapse of memory. Listen, I remember playing in a baseball game at the Peoria Chiefs Stadium when it was off of North Adams, and I faced it was a media game, and Paul King was the pitcher. He threw 3 fastballs by me, and I never even foul tipped one, and I remember that to this day. So that kicker, and that was just a fun game. That kicker probably cost Baltimore a playoff.
When? Sunday night?
No, the Baltimore loss that we were talking about. Who were they playing? And he missed the field goal or the extra point.
Sunday night.
So,
He didn't cost them the playoffs.
Yeah,
Had they
that's
won,
what
they
I
would have gone to the playoffs.
That
Yeah,
was my point.
Yep,
But you
yep.
gave me that confused look like,
Well,
what are you talking
Well,
about?
no, because you said they probably cost them the playoffs. No, he absolutely
Well,
cost
it
them the playoffs.
did,
Yeah,
yes, right,
no.
yeah.
But that's the thing. It all comes down to kickers, and this is the weekend, wild card weekend, where the kickers are just vital
Yes.
to winning games because this is now playoffs. So, say you're at the 5-yard line and it's 3rd and 9 and you don't get it. Do you go for it on 4th down, or do you go for the kick? You get the 3 points. You go for the kick every time because you won. It's all about points.
Yes.
It's all about that final
You
score.
never have 3rd and 9 on the 5-yard line.
Oh, you're right. Good call. 3rd and 5. Sorry, very good call. Well, good observation. 3rd and 5.
I had to think about that.
Yeah. Well, you could if you were. No, that wouldn't work. Yeah. If you had a penalty, but that wouldn't work. It'd be 3rd and 10. Yeah. But no. That's how you have to look at it. And these kickers, they're so vitally important, and everything hangs on them. Just like that poor ISU kid who didn't get the extra point, and then Montana State goes. They get the touchdown on 4th down. They get the touchdown, and then the kicker made the point. And game over.
Game over.
Didn't the kicker for the Bears doink 2 field goals in one game?
That was against
the double doink
against the Eagles. Yeah. And that's the thing. If the Bears win, they won't play the Eagles. They're the number 2 seed, so they'll host. Oh gosh, who would they host?
Oh, why did you say that? If Green Bay wins, who do they play next?
Seattle. They have to go.
That'll be a tough game.
Yep, very much so.
If the Bears win, who do they play?
Probably Los Angeles.
The Rams.
The number 5 seed, yeah.
Los
But
Angeles.
no, at Chicago, because the Bears are number 2. So the only way the Bears are not at Soldier Field.
For Caleb to excel, they need good weather.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree. No, and that's why I'm just giddy as a schoolboy relishing tomorrow night's game, because this is our way to right the wrong that happened 3 weeks ago in Chicago Saturday night, where we lost in the last 2 minutes. We were ahead. We were the better team until the last 2 minutes and 36 seconds of that game.
You're exactly right. Yeah, and they usually put guys with good hands on the field for an onside kick.
Yes.
And that ball bounced off of that kid's chest as he was looking at the guy coming to knock him on his
was going to hit him and not looking at the ball.
You're exactly right.
And then what killed me about it, and this is why I lost sleep about it that Saturday night, was had he just let the ball go, its trajectory was going to go out of bounds, and the Packers would have got it.
Well, you're asking him to think.
Yeah, I know.
You guys are talking good and evil. This is a game of good and evil.
Yeah. Just the split-second decision. But no, I'm looking forward to a very good game, and a lot of great games this weekend. I look forward to the Houston Steelers, the Texans Steelers game Monday night. I look forward to the Chargers and the Patriots game, because the Patriots have had a great season, but they really haven't played any good teams.
You're into football quite heavily in the NFL. Like or dislike Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, I like Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Yeah, no, I wish him the best. I think
he's evil.
He continued to show who he was Sunday night against the Ravens.
He did.
It's like, there's Aaron Rodgers. He's coming out. He's determined, and just it's amazing what he can do at almost 44 years old.
I think he has thyroid problems.
He might. Why do you think that?
Because his eyes bulge.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
I don't know whether he uses a certain kind of eye drops But bulging eyes sometimes means thyroid issues.
Well, if you've seen his wife, I mean,
I don't know if Dr. Siddler's
He has he can throw the best
Where did
ball
Roger get? Yeah.
with a flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
very
it's
good.
outstanding.
He's very good.
Hey, we got to wrap things up going into the weekend.
Go Bears.
Thanks for telling
That's
us
right.
half-inch of snow coming
Up
overnight.
to a half
Up
inch.
to.
Up
so
to.
it could be less.
Could be a dusting.
Yeah.
Could be
But it
nothing.
won't stick.
No, it will stick. That's why
It
up
will
to a
stick?
half inch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was hoping that
You're saying up to a half inch.
Up to a half inch.
Oh, there you
Not
have
up
it.
2.5 inch.
From
Up
Kyle
to a
Barnett.
half inch.
Sam Lilly, thanks so much. Kevin Sullivan, thanks so much.
Kevin
And Terry Chamberlain, thanks so much. And Roger, thank you for hosting the program.
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank
Go
you.
Braves, go
Thank
Pack,
you
go.
very much. You got it. Have a great day, everybody. Great weekend. Remember, God loves you, and so do we. So long, everybody.